All right, what is up, everyone? OJ here. Welcome to another PE Live. And yes, I know I still have the music going, but I didn't want to make you guys wait more than 10 minutes. It's already been 10 minutes on there. We got pretty much everybody in here that's going to get in at the early show. So I wanted to go ahead and start it, but we'll keep the music going. It's just kind of low, so probably some of you guys might be able to hear it. Some of you guys might not be able to hear it. But anyway, what's up, everyone? How's everybody doing today? PE Live, we got a good show for you guys. We're going to talk about Torna, the Golden Country, the DLC, frequently asked questions. A lot of you guys have been asking me questions, like peppering me with questions in the last live stream, in addition to just like on Twitter and other places as well. So, and I've also been seeing a ton of questions, so we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the Nindies Direct. That was a big thing there. There was people crying and complaining about that, people saying that it was good, people saying that it was bad. Very polarizing type of thing whenever Nintendo talks about anything outside of, I don't know, like Mario or Zelda, or like not triple A. I hate that term, but triple A games. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about a lot of different stuff, man. Shout outs to everybody that was on Twitter today. It was a great day on Twitter, because you know when I get into a nice little discussion and somebody gets mad, it's because I simply destroy their point. And they get mad at me. You know what I'm saying? So I know I usually have a good day when I get at least one person pissed off at me on Twitter for simply disagreeing with them. You know what I'm saying? For simply disagreeing with their opinion. So good day today. Good day overall. So let's go ahead and get into the shout outs here, guys. I know a lot of you guys are here waiting. So if you want me to give you a shout out, feel free to say hi and I will give a shout out back. All right. So shout outs to Sean Diamond, Elite Ninja Sean Diamond. How's it going? Cabbage Scented Candle, what's good, man? Alton, what's good? How's it going? Let's see here. Rhythm, what's good? How's it going? Kendrick Plays, what's up? Prince Goro, what's up? How's it going? Neil Blitz the Printy, what's up? Golden Oracle 64, what is up? I also have my Twitch chat on too, so I'll be taking a look at the Twitch chat as well. So shout out to all the Twitch ninja out there. Let's see here. Fire Nation, Golden Oracle once again. Matt Inside, what is good? Gamer Pawn, what's up, man? Big Mo 375, what's good? Michael O'Brien, what's good? DJ Mama, what's good? Yo, Drum Crusher, what's good, my boy? How's it going, dude? Good to see you here. I'm selling my Switch, baby. I know, man.
You know what? I've been on board with Nintendo since day one. But the fact that I can't play the same games that I can play on my PlayStation 4 day one is ridiculous. So therefore, I'm selling it, because I want to be able to play the exact same things at the exact same time with the exact same graphics and the exact same features and the exact same things, so it can be just exactly the same as my PlayStation, my Xbox, and my PC.
That's my thought process whenever I hear people talk. Shout outs to Red Malion, what's good? Shout outs to Rhythm, how's it going? T.T, what's good? Zema Dufont, shout outs to Elite Ninja Zema Dufont, how's it going? Loud7, what's good? Ian, what's good?
Too many indies that I'm not forced to buy. Selling my Switch.
Which I know, especially like I said, because all these indie games, like PlayStation 4 has more indie games than the Switch. Like PlayStation 4 also has more bigger games too, but PlayStation 4 is going to get all those games that we saw. Like Sony's gonna get all those games eventually, so that was the funniest thing. Or like Sony already has those games, or they're going to get them eventually, you know. So that's the funny thing. Let's see here. El Chupacabra, what's good? Deco, what's good? Do I know how long Torna will be? We'll talk about that in just a bit. We'll talk about Deco. We'll talk about that just a bit. We're getting into shoutouts right now, so hold on to the Torna questions, guys. I'll be answering every single bit of your Torna questions, like in just a bit. Let me just get my shout outs here, guys. Introductions. I got also a nice little package here in the mail as well. Shout outs to Amiibo fan with a $2 donation, and he says play Mr. Big theme from Art of Fighting, Super Nintendo version. You asked for songs. You weren't even anywhere near alive when those songs came out. But shout outs, man, for doing your research, Amiibo fan. But you asking for songs that, like, it's like, I don't understand how you even know about some of these songs, dude. You do your research, I'll tell you that. All right, here we go. Mr. Big thing, baby. Big thing, going big. What's good? Sub-Zero, what's good, man? Good to see you here in the live stream, man. Good to see you here. What's up? Let's see here. Ralph Pollard, what's good? Shout outs to Elite Ninja Auron, what's good? Wait, people are actually saying that. Saying which one? The one that George said, like, I'm selling my Switch, baby. People aren't saying that, but people are just complaining that about anytime there's here's the thing. We'll talk about, like I said, we'll talk about this once we get to the Nindies section. We're going to talk about Torna of the Golden Country for a good amount of time because you guys have a lot of questions with that. Michelle Tackett, what's good? Alonzo Vines, what's good? Keenan Parker, Elite Ninja Keenan Parker, what's good, man? Let's see here. Derek S, what's good? It's more, guys, it's more, to be honest, it's more of a vocal minority. It really is a vocal minority. It's not really everybody saying this. The problem is that when you get a bunch of people that have been repeating the same thing in an echo chamber, anytime a Nindies is announced, it's the same people saying the same things. You know what I'm saying? It's not anybody like a bunch of new people like, oh, no. It's the same people who complain that have been complaining. I don't think it's many more new people. The people who play Switch and enjoy it are playing Switch and enjoying it. The people who complain about everything are still complaining about everything. It's no different than what it's been before. It's the same crap. It's just, oh, now I can actually voice my opinion because now there is something for me to actually talk about. Yeah, the term AAA is I almost said something. The term AAA is stupid. It's lost its meaning. It's horrible. It's a dumb term. I don't care how many developers use it. I don't care how many people use it to describe what they're trying to talk about. The term AAA is absolutely stupid. Nobody can actually define. I've gotten many people on here trying to define like that debate. No, AAA means this, and I'm like, okay, come on here and talk about me with it. No, but they just nobody can sit here and tell me a real definition for it. When I ask them questions and I press them on the matter, they have no idea because they've just been indoctrinated to think AAA means this. You know what I'm saying? So nobody can actually give me a straight answer. You know, whenever I ask them, okay, AAA, the term AAA, what does it mean? Oh, well, it's a game that costs a lot of money to make. Okay, what's the price? That's when they start going blank and they start, like, they don't know. So that's the reason why I hate that term because before it used to mean quality. It used to mean quality, and it used to mean developers spent a lot of money to make a quality game. But that is not the definition anymore at this point. That's not the definition. You can say big budget. I can just say big budget. I don't need to say AAA. I don't need to say AAA. So we can just say big budget because big budget, AAA means as in like high quality. And Mass Effect apparently was a AAA game. There's nothing high quality about Mass Effect. The graphics aren't even that great. They're okay, but it's not like they're anything earth-shattering. You know what I'm saying? So what is AAA about Mass Effect outside of its own budget? That's it. And even then, $40 million, how much was spent on them messing around for 5 years because they didn't know what the hell to do with the game and creating freaking RPG tools within the Frostbite engine. So what's AAA? Them taking forever to create Frostbite? You know, to make RPG elements in Frostbite? That's AAA? Get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense. I don't want to hear this stupid AAA garbage anymore. If anybody can tell me can actually come on here and defend what AAA is in today's day, I'd be more than happy to have you on. I haven't had a single person do that. Haven't had a single person do that. What's up, Velvety? How's it going? Mecha Shadow, how's it good? How's it good? How's it going? Kendrick Plays once again. What's up, man? Hey there, Velvety. Amiibo fan, what's good? Michelle Tackett, what's good? It's not just a buzzword used by mainstream media. That's the thing. It's not just that anymore. It's also regular people use AAA, like regular gamers use AAA. Lots of people just use it normally. It's a very casual term to use. You know, very casual term to use. But if I look at like a game like Wolfenstein, oh, that's AAA, right? I don't consider anything about Wolfenstein AAA. I don't know the budget of Wolfenstein. I don't consider anything about Wolfenstein AAA. Really, I really don't consider anything about Wolfenstein AAA. I don't consider anything about like I just what is AAA about Wolfenstein? Because it has some good graphics. Okay, lots of developers can do good graphics and spend less money. I mean, what is the AAA about it? Because it has good graphics? Is that what defines AAA these days? No, I'm good. I don't find anything about Wolfenstein 2 on the Switch AAA. I don't find anything about Wolfenstein 2 on the PS4 and Xbox One AAA. I find nothing about those games AAA. I don't know the development budget of them. Yeah, the graphics are okay, but once again, are graphics what makes a game AAA or not? I don't think so. So then what? Is the game's high quality? Maybe, in your opinion. If you think it is, okay, that's fine. But I don't. So no, I'm not gonna call AAA. Everybody says Wolfenstein 2, AAA, AAA. It's like, no, I'd rather play I think Transistor's a better game than it. I honestly think Bastion's better game than Wolfenstein 2. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not down with this whole AAA garbage. I'm not down with it. I'm really not. Really not. All right. So I've probably went through most of the people's stuff here. Shout out to Skull Terrace. Okay, what's good, man? Braxton, if I were you guys, I wouldn't listen to reviewers in order to decide whether to buy a game or not. Not that Dreamcast guy isn't a great review. Actually, his reviews are really good. But if I were you, I would take your own thoughts, and then you decide what you're gonna buy based on that. Because look, I'll tell you guys the same thing that I did, and I always curse. I mean, I think IGN did the same thing, right? And there was a reviewer that I liked on IGN. And he said, you know what? I read the review for Lost Odyssey, and I said, you know what? This review isn't good enough. I got talked out of buying Lost Odyssey from the IGN review, even though they gave it a good score at the end of the day. I think I gave it a 7 or an 8, but I got talked out of it, and that was one of the worst decisions that I have ever made, was being talked out of a game that ultimately ends up getting a good score, but I'm looking at what they say and dissecting it. Don't do that, or you're going to end up screwing yourself over on good games. If I were you, if you're interested in a game, if it gets an okay score, just as long as the game's not completely broken and you're interested in it, I would go on your gut instinct than listening to someone else and say, oh, well, based on what that person said, then I'm not going to get it. If I were you, I would not do that, because you're going to end up missing a lot of games that you might end up being your favorite game of all time. Like, for me, Lost Odyssey is easily it's a top 10 game for me. And I didn't play it for a couple of years because IGN's stupid review, which they sounded very convincing, and that was back then IGN. It wasn't current days IGN, but back then IGN. So, I mean, I was like, oh yeah, I was listening to them. It's going to be good. And I ended up making a huge mistake on that. So if I were you guys, I would not buy a game just because this person says some things and they don't say some good things, and even though they gave it a good score, you still don't get it. I mean, I disagree. I disagree with that thought process. In my opinion, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. Let's see here. I just use reviews to see if there's a common problem. Yeah, and I understand. I get that with common problems, and I get that. But completely using that, even if it got a good score, to just say, okay, I'm not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? I think is a mistake. And I told you guys I did that with IGN before. Heck, even in a game that didn't get as good of reviews. Before we get into the whole Torna, guys, I want to talk about this. Star Ocean 4. A lot of people don't like that game. A lot of people gave Star Ocean 4 a lot of bad reviews. Star Ocean 4 is one of my favorite RPGs on the Xbox 360. And I love Star Ocean 4. I really do like Star Ocean 4. But people were going out there and saying, oh, well, there's this thing wrong, this thing wrong. And if I would have listened to all of them, I would have never purchased Star Ocean 4. But I got it. I ended up getting Star Ocean 4. And I love Star Ocean 4. So if I were you, I would not go unless the game is completely broken and you can completely see that, and all the reviews are just giving it bad score after bad score after bad score, and it's just horrible, then okay, then maybe you should avoid it. But if you're getting good scores and you're interested in the game, it's worth trying out. I mean, I wouldn't, but hey, if you guys want to potentially miss out on certain things because of a certain one or two things that somebody says, go ahead, but you'll end up being sorry later, like I was with a lot of different games. Exactly. Lost Odyssey kind of got trashed by the American press, though. That's the thing that you have to remember. Lost Odyssey, it's looked at fondly now as one of the best RPGs and amazing and all that stuff. But back when it came out, I can guarantee you that was not the sentiment of Lost Odyssey when it came out. Now, some reviewers, yes, but a lot of reviewers are just like, oh, this is just a grindy, really long RPG with 4 discs. They were complaining, they were whining and crying about the game. And when I played Lost Odyssey, I was like, what the hell are all these people talking about? Like I said, Lost Odyssey didn't get horrible reviews, but Lost Odyssey's reviews nowhere near reflect the quality of the game. The game is much better than its reviews. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, don't always just bank on one person's opinion on something. I mean, if something's interesting, you think they end up giving it a good score. If you were interested in it in the first place, then just go out there and try it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't completely disregard it. That's all I'm trying to say, man. That's all I'm trying to say. Shout outs to I consider I don't consider anything guys, I don't use that terminology anymore. I don't use the term AAA anymore. I don't use it. It's just not a term that I use anymore, guys. I'm not gonna say this game is AAA. Like, I'm not gonna do that. It's stupid. It's stupid. I haven't played Spider-Man. I don't know if it's AAA. I don't know how good the quality of the game is. If we're going off the old definition, which Torna the Old Country definition of what AAA is. That was a high quality game that was good. It was high quality and it was a good game. It was a really good game. Or it's a really good game. I need to play the game first. It actually needs to come out before you decide whether it's AAA or not. I'm not gonna, oh, well, look, the graphics look good, so it's AAA. Whoa, like, I'm not gonna do that. No, I haven't played Spider-Man. I don't know if it's AAA or not. I don't know if it's a good game. I need to play it. Remember when you actually played games before you decided if it was, like, really good or not? Like, I need to play the game. All right, so let's go and get into the Torna of the Golden Country, guys. I know you guys have a lot of questions on this. So if you do have any questions, Torna of the Golden Country, I am here to answer everything. I've researched pretty much everything about this game earlier today. I did about an hour of looking through. I can answer any of your questions on Torna of the Golden Country if you guys want me to. There, so go ahead, let them rip. And I will also give you guys more information as well. So shout outs to Kendall NA, DeMar Gordon, and Remnock as well. 3 subscriptions in a row. That's the most we've had on a live stream in a row like that. 4 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute ago. So thank you guys. Welcome to the Elite Ninja Village. Guys, if you got those headbands, please spam it for my brand new ninja into the village. Appreciate that, guys. Also hit that like button. I think we're doing good on the likes. Yeah, 50 likes already. So we're doing good on the likes. So you guys hit that like button. Let's get some more new ninja into the village. All right, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is Valhalla Outcast. I will answer your question. Actually, I already said what defined a good or a AAA game back in the day, but hey, we'll talk about it at the end. I guess that's more of an interesting topic or discussion than Torna right now, but we'll talk about that at the end. We can talk about the Nindies, and we'll also just blend everything together because we'll hit an hour mark by then. By the time we're done with Torna. Let's see here. What about the opposite of getting the game because the reviews have been good? I mean, that's one way to do it, guys. But then again, I mean, I can usually tell if a game is going to be good and whether I want it by looking at it. But then again, that's just my trained eyes. You know, that's just I usually like to look at impressions. You know, I don't look at reviews. I look at impressions. Like I look at the game being played. Okay, how does this work? Okay, how are they playing it? Like is it a live demo? Is it right then and there? And I kind of make my decision whether I want to get a game based on that. When I actually see live gameplay, not somebody splicing and cutting and over dissecting every single thing about a game or not. I don't make my decision based on that. I don't really watch a lot of reviews. I watch Dreamcast guys' reviews because I'm on the treadmill and I support his content. But I don't ever use anybody's reviews in order to get a game or not. You know, a lot of the reviews that I watch on games that I'm not going to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like Yakuza or Shenmue or whatever the case is. I'm not going to play those games. So I'll watch Dreamcast guys' reviews, or I'll watch John's reviews or stuff that he puts up, you know, or RGT, because like they review a lot of stuff that I'm not going to play that crap that they're putting up, you know, so I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to, okay, that's great. You know, I support my boys. But am I like, okay, well, let me wait and see what this person has to say? Like, no, I can make my own decision. Watch some gameplay, and that's how I decide on it. So no, I don't really use reviews to decide whether or some arbitrary number by a game all of a sudden. Okay, you know, because they do that with The Witcher 3, right? I did that with The Witcher 3 back in 2015, and look where that got me with The Witcher 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I did that with The Witcher 3, and I'm like, yeah, you know. So no, I'm not gonna do that. I don't do that anymore. I look at gameplay. And all the stuff that I dislike with Witcher 3, you could see that in the gameplay videos. You can clearly see that, you know. I honestly don't care about Etika's Xenoblade Chronicles 2 stream. I actually don't care about. That's not a question. I don't know why you're tagging me with that. We're talking about Torna of the Golden Country. If he had a great Xenoblade Chronicles 2 stream, that's great, man. That's great. That's good for him. But I don't know why you're expecting me to care. Let's see. Legendary Races Splashes. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna Physical Edition comes with the cartridge and side story, right? Yes. So the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna the Physical Edition. I think you worded it a little bit weird. It comes with the cartridge that has Torna the Golden Country on it. Torna the Golden Country is a completely, pretty much separate thing. Nothing carries over from the physical game. So when you say the side story, I think you mean expansion pass. Now the expansion pass in the game is not for Torna the Golden Country. It's for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which you need to have the game in order to access that. The expansion pass, or how you say it, side story, I'm not sure what you're trying to compare that to. That doesn't have anything in Torna the Golden Country. That is its own complete game that you can play standalone, and the expansion pass is not does nothing for it. That expansion pass, a download code, is for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the actual game. So, I mean, technically, you can pick up Torna the Golden Country on physical cartridge. The expansion pass is not needed for that game if you just want to play Torna the Golden Country. And you can do that if you want to. That download code is for the expansion pass for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So just make sure that you know about that. But yes, physical edition, it's $10 more than what it normally, is. However, the expansion pass is $30. So you get a $10 discount. Michelle Tackett says, Parsons, I'm looking forward to seeing Jin's story in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Tragic Fallen Hero. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it too. I'm really looking forward to it. Let's see here. Sean Diamond says, Parsons, what character are you looking forward to? Mine is Minoth. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Minoth as well. Yeah, I'm not saying that his reviews aren't great. Deadlock. I'm not saying that his reviews aren't great. I'm just saying that I don't base my purchases on reviews. I know a lot of people do, but I don't base my purchases on reviews because I don't need to base my purchases on reviews, because basing my purchases on reviews has literally screwed me over time and time and time and time and time again. So I don't do that. I base it on, the funny thing is that when I actually watched the gameplay of Lost Odyssey, that's what I did. I didn't read any reviews. I watched the gameplay of Lost Odyssey and I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I actually think I'm gonna like this game. Before I just waited for the review, but now I actually watched the gameplay. I looked at somebody doing a let's play and I'm like, you know what? This game actually looks pretty solid. Let me pick it up. And I went out there, I picked it up for like $20, a couple years after it launched or whatever. And I'm like, dude, this game is amazing. So to me, my deal of how I purchase games is looking at gameplay, seeing how it's played, not a spliced up, cut up review with opinions thrown out here and there. Looking at the gameplay. Does it play smooth? Does it look fun? What are the options? What are what are the things that you can do in it? So that's my idea. Now you guys can, like I said, you guys can do whatever you want. I'm just telling you what I think. but Etika. No, I'm not saying that Etika's stream wasn't good. I'm just saying I don't know why. What do you want me to talk about? We're talking about Torna the Golden Country, and then somebody brings up, okay, hey player, this is Etika's stream. Okay, that's great. I'm really happy that he had a stream. Hopefully, Etika, give me a shout out, my guy. I watch his content too, but how am I supposed to care about that right now when I'm talking about this? I don't get it. So yeah. How long? Daniel says, how long is the game? Yeah, the game is 40 hours. Nintendo says 40 hours of content in the game, 40 hours plus. So, I'm going to sit there and maybe they're kind of longing it a couple hours. Maybe you can get through it quicker. So I'm going to say 35 hours plus of content in there, probably with a lot more if you do all the extra content. So yeah. Gamer Pawns says, Parsons, are there any major differences and mechanisms of Torna the Golden Country versus the base Xenoblade 2? Yes. The base Xenoblade 2 game, the way that things work, now, generally the battle system is the same. You're not going to feel any different. It still has like the auto battle type of thing, and then like you use skills, you use blade combos. It still has all that. The main difference with this, why the flow feels a lot more different, is because the fact that each driver has only 2 blades and you can't switch them between other people, and you're not going to be getting a bunch of core crystals and doing all that. That was a big part of the game, for better or worse. I think now, kind of looking back, I think that they went a little too hard with the whole core crystal and affinity charts and all. They went a little too hard with that, maybe just a little bit too much. But that's essentially the biggest flow change. Now there are some different skills and some different mechanics with certain drivers and blades, and also you can use blades as well. So Jin is a blade, right? Before in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you can't really use blades. You can use the driver who attacks through the blade, and then once you do a blade combo, then that's when the blade comes in and kind of attacks. But in Torna the Golden Country, you can actually use the blades themselves. You can use the blades, although there are times that you can use blades per se in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but it's not a normal thing. So that's also a big change up. And like I said, there are other skills, advanced skills and different things within like the mechanics and depth that you will see in Torna the Golden Country. For example, that Adam has, like when you go to his to enhance his driver skills, there are different mechanics and other things added into that weren't in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Don't want to completely ruin it for you guys, but yeah, there's definitely a good bit of mechanics that are different. But generally speaking, the battle system is the same. It's not like it's going to be like a whole new type of gameplay, Let's Let's see here. Deadlock 7 says, player, since I know you were saying that, OJ. Anyway, the physical version's download code will include Torna then. So many people are confused online. The physical version's download code includes Torna then. No, because I mean it's essentially the same thing though, Deadlock. If you have the expansion pass and if you have the physical thing, you're not going to get 2 copies of it. You're not going to be able like, okay, now I have Torna the Golden Country. You know what I'm saying? You don't get 2 copies of it. The expansion pass will come with all the extra content on there, a download code for all the extra content. They're not going to give you another expansion pass with Torna the Golden Country in order for you to give that away for somebody else. So no, Nintendo's not that dumb. Nintendo's not that dumb, so they're not going to do that. They're not going to give you 2 copies of Torna the Golden Country. When you buy the physical version of the game, you will get the physical cartridge, and on the expansion pass you'll get everything on there but Torna the Golden Country on the expansion pass. If you have the expansion pass digitally through the game, then you get Torna the Golden Country on there that way. So that's kind of how it works. Let's see here. Kofi K says, can you tell us your favorite 3 blades are? We should be firmly outside Xenoblade Chronicles 2 spoiler time now that I'm thinking. I mean, to be honest, I mean, there's a lot of cool blades. I like the just standard ones. I like Pyra, I like Mithra, I like Cosmos. I think she's a cool blade. I don't have her yet, but I think she's cool. I like a lot of them, man. It's hard to say which ones are my favorites per se. I think I just got Obrona or whatever her name is, Akos' blade, so she's pretty cool too. I do like Pandy. Pandy's awesome. There's a lot of different blades, man. It's hard to really pick which ones per se that I like more so than the other. But yeah, they're all. I like Rock. Rock is cool. A lot of cool blades, man. Let's see here. Rhythm says, player, since tell people about the different release dates for Torna expansion pass owners get September. Yeah, let's talk about that. So yes, good point. So if you have Torna the Golden Country, if you have, like, let's say you have Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right? You have the base game and you bought the expansion pass, you're going to be able to play Torna the Golden Country, the DLC, the big story expansion. You're going to be able to play that on September 14th. Now, if you don't have that and you want to just pick up Torna the Golden Country physical, you know, then you're going to have to wait till September 21st. So you have to wait 1 week in order to play Torna the Golden Country if you want the physical version. They do not launch the same day. Digital expansion pass, if you have Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you get to play on the September 14th. Physical version of the game drops on September 21st. So there is a week in between from there. So yeah. Yeah, there's almost 30 now. Almost 30 now what? What are you talking about again? I forgot. Blades? I forgot, dude. What are you talking about there? Let's see here. J2 Blue says, Parsons, do you have to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in order to understand the story of Torna, or would it be spoiling the story? Yeah, it would be spoiling the story. Yes. It would be spoiling things because it's going to put it in a time frame knowing that you know kind of what happened to Torna. So while it won't spoil everything, it's gonna create some loopiness because you're not gonna know certain things. You're not gonna know exactly who some characters are. You're not gonna know what happened. You can play it because technically it's a prequel, so you can technically play the game and be like, all right, well, this is a prequel, but it will ruin some things, I think, especially by the time that you get to the end. I'm pretty sure it will ruin or it will somewhat spoil Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and some of the characters and things that happen in the game. So I highly suggest finishing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 first, although it's not needed to finish Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I highly suggest it. Nintendo gave us plenty of time to finish the game. Heck, even if you bought it this year, you still had months and months and months to finish the game, you know. So let's see. Let's see. Prince Gross' question is the Torna DLC integrates into the main game, or is it its own thing? It's in, guys. It's not integrated into the main game. When you play Torna the Golden Country, it's literally going to have a separate option for you saying Torna the Golden Country. It's not going to be like, okay, you start up Xenoblade Chronicles 2, then like you go into like a place and it says, oh, well, here's Torna the Golden Country DLC. You want to play that? It's not going to do that. It's not integrated into it. That's the reason why it's a standalone. Almost think of it as like Dishonored 2. Remember the standalone for Dishonored? How it's just a completely separate thing. Yeah, it's great if you already played it, but it's completely separate game, completely separate thing. Stuff doesn't carry over. New Game Plus doesn't carry over. None of that. It's two different things. That's why I told people on Twitter it's like almost like a new game. So yeah. Blades. Blades. You know, I don't know how many blades I have. I'm not really sure. Yo, bro, you're on Twitch. LOL. What's good, bro? What's good, RX Gaming? Shout outs to the Twitch boys. Also, shout outs to the Aces 424, and also Jesse Diaz with the subscriptions. Thank you guys so much. Got a lot of new subscriptions today. 5 people already in this one live stream. That's really good. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Yeah, you'll miss out. Exactly. Cool33710 says you'll miss out on certain plot points. Exactly. You won't know what's going on. You won't know what's going on there. Also, guys, I want to make sure that you guys know we do have a $50 eShop card giveaway because we have a lot of new subscribers today. So we do have a $50 eShop giveaway that we're doing, eShop card. So make sure you hit up the link that's about to pop up in the chat here, guys, and make sure you get all your entries in so you can get that giveaway. We don't have too many people. I think we have less than 4,000 people in there, and we have like about 2 weeks left. So make sure you guys check that out. Let's see here. Any other questions, guys? If not, we can always move on. We're already 40 minutes in, so we can move on to Nindies and questions as well, or just random talk. Because I'm pretty sure everybody watched my live reaction, or you guys already saw the whole Nindies stuff. But they announced a bunch of they kind of revealed a lot of release dates for a bunch of stuff, and kind of like announced a lot of games that people didn't think that were that interesting. Kind of weird, kind of cutesy type of games. Not really sure, but all like the really cool stuff that they've already announced, already on other systems, they just kind of blew right by those ones, which was really cool because I was like, all right, cool. We know when Transistor's coming. We know when Bastion's coming. Those were new announcements. Those games are both old. Those games are 3 years plus old at this point. Also, shout outs to RX Gaming. So yeah, we can get into that. So if he has any other questions, Boise says, player, since I know all of the story in Xenoblade 2, should I still get it or wait for Torna? I don't understand your question. Since you know, should you still get it or wait for Torna? Torna and Xenoblade 2 are two completely different things. They're completely different things. It's up to you. If you spoiled yourself and you know all the story, yet you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it's up to you what you want to do. If you know all the story, then you can just pick whatever you want. You want to play Torna, go into Torna. You want to play Xenoblade 2, go into Xenoblade 2. So yeah, it's up to you what you want to do, man. Personally, if I was in your spot at this point, if you know the story, you know everything that happened, you can just go ahead and pick up Torna because Torna is going to be something new that you haven't experienced. So just go ahead and pick up Torna the standalone, and you'll be fine. So yeah, I would just do that if I was in your situation. And then maybe if you want, you can play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 later to fill in the plot holes and all that, or to fill in maybe what you missed from it. So yeah, OJ, what do we talk about? We're talking about Torna the Golden Country. If you have any questions, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country. That's what we're talking about right now. Laura looks like Hinoka. I think they just both have the same haircut and same hair color. That's pretty much what it is. Did I watch the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 from Gamescom? I want my reaction. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 from Gamescom, Mike Austin. No, I did not see anything from that. I just did the what was it? Damon Damon X Machina. I did that and I got my reaction, but maybe I'll check out some of the. I don't want to check out too much of the Torna stuff just because, or the Xenoblade 2 stuff, just because I don't want to spoil myself. But I did see the trailers for Torna the Golden Country, if that's what you mean. It's pretty good stuff. Yeah, Thomas, they did mention that. We talked about that in just a bit ago. Yeah, they said 40 hours plus for Torna the Golden Country if you want to kind of get everything. Yeah, if you want to kind of get everything, 40 hours plus. Pedro. No, I have not seen a Pedro yet, man. M. Williams says, I am getting the Torna physical player. Since do you think the driver / blade switching places mechanic? What do I think of the driver / blade switching places mechanic? I think it's good. I think that's going to be a good option and a nice breath of fresh air because I'm kind of tired of core crystals, guys. I'll be honest. Like after grinding core crystals and going through and getting so many blades, like I'm kind of tired of merc missions and core crystals. So this will be a good change of pace to just be able to experience the game and have your drivers and be able to upgrade them and not have to worry about so many different things. With the core crystals and all that. So yeah, it's I'm actually really looking forward to it because I'm playing through Xenoblade Chronicles 2 again right now on New Game Plus, and that's one thing I'm just kind of like, about right now. So yeah. Oh, the indie game. My friend Pedro. No, I haven't really heard too much about it. I don't know if it's the type of game that I'm gonna play, but yeah. T.T says, man, I'm just excited to jump into Xenoblade again. Yeah, it's great, man. Even like with all the additions and upgrades that they've made to the game at this point, like I was playing it, dude. I'm playing it on my new Samsung TV. I think the one thing with Switch is that you've got to have a TV that's not old. Like you can't have an old, panel TV that doesn't have good colors and vibrancy, because then I don't think Switch games pop. Because I played Xenoblade 2 on my old TV. Mainly I played it on my old TV. And while it looked good, it didn't look quite as good, and it doesn't look good on my 4K monitor either. But when I play it on my Samsung TV that has the newer technology, newer color, a lot of the new features that the TVs have, dude, it just looks way better. The colors are there, it's vibrant, it pops. So I think that that's also another thing too. Like that it just looks so much better, and all the updates that they've made. I think that they've made some updates to some of the graphics in the game. I'm not sure what they've done. I mean, I'm not Digital Foundry, but it definitely looks sharper. Maybe it's either because of my TV or it's because they actually did do some updates to the game. I know it runs a little bit better. That's one thing that I do know. Yeah, I mean, I know, David, they said they kept spoilers to a minimum, but I just rather not watch it, to be honest. I already know I'm going to get it, so there's really no point in me doing that. Ataki says, did you see the article about NPD analysts saying exclusive games are the explanation behind the success of the PlayStation 4 and Switch over Xbox One? Well, I mean, I think that's kind of like a duh type of thing, right? Like the reason why PlayStation 4 does well is because it has a lot of, third-party games. It has a lot of indie games, and it has stuff like God of War, and it has like The Last of Us, and it has Spider-Man, and it has Horizon Zero Dawn. And then you look at the Xbox One, and it has Sea of Thieves, and it has State of Decay, and it has Rise Son of Rome, or it has like Sunset Overdrive. Like you can just look at the quality of the Xbox One games, and you compare that to the Xbox One exclusives, and you compare that to PlayStation 4 and Switch, and it's no question. I mean, and that's the reason why whenever people start crying about certain stuff with Switch, I'm like, guys, this is most people have multiple consoles. People are going to buy a Switch. People are going to buy a PS4. Most people don't care about this whole console war garbage nonsense. If a game doesn't come to one system, you get it on the other system. When a good game comes to your system that you like, you get it on that system. This bickering back and forth is stupid, because the systems like Switch and PS4 are going to do well because of their exclusive games. But yeah, I mean, that's very simple thing to see, dude. I'm not surprised at all. Define old TV, like the TV that doesn't have like a lot of the new, like the HDR and a lot of the new stuff that they put into the TVs. You know what I'm saying? And I know Switch doesn't support HDR like that, but I'm just saying a lot of, like, I would say like made in the past like year or so, within a year, not like a TV that's like 3 or 4 years old. Like TVs that are like, because when I played Xenoblade, I was playing Xenoblade on my Vizio D series TV, which is good for response timing. But the 4K on there and the color and all that is not the best. Also on my monitor here, not the best. But on my Samsung out there, dude, it's freaking amazing on there, man. Yeah, LGs are good too. Fireblast Gaming says, player, since I know I'm going to get crap for this, but I don't like the Adam design. He looks way too young. If I'm not wrong, he is older. I don't think he looks way too young. Obviously, you can tell how tall Adam is. Adam is a lot taller than like, let's say, Rex. So I don't think he looks way too young. And I think that at this point, like, people have said what age people looks. I think it's kind of weird. Like, Adam doesn't look like he's like as young as Rex. Rex is 15. He doesn't look as young as Rex. He definitely looks older than Rex because he's a lot taller. But no, he looks like a standard, young man in his mid 20s or something like that, or mid to late 20s, somewhere in his 20s. But no, I don't really see that as a problem. I don't think he looks too young, in my opinion. Usually with Japanese animation, you can kind of tell how old or young somebody is by how tall they are. That's how they do it. With some exceptions, obviously with some exceptions, but that's how you can kind of tell how old somebody is. You can tell Rex is young because, I mean, he's like 5'1", you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like tiny, so you can tell, whereas compared to like Van Damme or compared to some of the most of the other adults in the game, they're clearly a cut above. So, Zemma Duvant says, my TV is 10 years old now. Yeah, I think it's time to get a new TV, dude. No, I didn't hear about that, Retro. I didn't hear about that. Golden Oracle says, player, since I got a Vizio 60-inch 4K recently, pretty interested to see how Golden Country gonna look. Well, yeah, man. What series of Vizio did you get? What series of Vizio did you get? If you guys want, since you guys are asking me random questions, we'll move into the Nindies stuff. So we'll talk about the Nindies and what happened there. So basically, there was a number of games announced. I don't have the full list, but there was a bunch of different games announced. But I think I'm just gonna go over some of my highlights. My highlights was Hyper Light Drifter. That's coming out like next week. My next highlight was Bastion. That's coming out September 13th, and then Transistor, which is coming out November 1st. Those were my 3 highlights. Really excited for those games. Oh, the Messengers in a couple days. So those 4 games were my highlights of the show. They all look good. They all gonna play good. Undertale. That's coming out September 18th, I think. So a lot of games within the next month or two coming out. Looking forward to, but like I said, the biggest ones for me, Bastion, Transistor, Hyper Light Drifter. All those games look awesome. Can't wait to play them on the Switch. No, the merch hint did not drop. I will still do the merch hint, guys. We'll still do the merch hint. Like we'll still do it, but no merch hint right now, man. But yeah, I'll do it if we do. Oh yeah, we also had Onimusha Warlords, but that's not really a Nindies type of thing, right? So yeah. The Messenger has an 88 on Metacritic. Yeah, Messenger's really good, guys. I would not sleep on that game. The Messenger's awesome. Make sure you guys check that out. Michael O'Brien says, player, since Undertale is one of the highest rated indies coming to Switch this year, but all she showed was a little skit at the earlier direct and release date today. Why not showcase it? Well, because the game is old. Because the game is already years old. That's the reason why. I mean, everybody already knows what Undertale is. Why are you going to sit there and showcase in detail a game that's been out for years and years? So yeah, it's the same reason why. I mean, and there's probably no exclusive content for it as well. So why showcase it like that? People who want Undertale are gonna go get Undertale, but there's no need to really showcase Undertale like that. It's old. Everybody already knows about it and talked about it. And there's no exclusive content in the Switch version of Undertale, so there's no need really. The Yellow Kazusa's player says, did the Goose game interest you at all? No, I'm not a big fan of Goose games. No, not interested in that at all, to be honest. Ah, nice. Canadians who made the Messenger. Even more reason for me to pick it up. Dale Greenwood says, player, since you're the greatest man, I've been loving Xenoblade Chronicles 2 from the start to finish and put over 280 hours in. How much did you put in? Love your awesome videos you always put out. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Dale. Yeah, I think I'm at 170 something hours at this point. So I've been playing for I think 173 hours. I've put in about, maybe in the past week or two, I've put in about a good 10 hours in. So I'm getting through it. I'm going to get through it till Torna comes out. So I'll probably end up with around 200 something hours in the game. No, Samsung. No, it is. You don't have to get a Samsung Golden Oracle. You're okay with your Vizio. I'm not trying to TV. Oh, this TV so much better. No, you're okay with your. Dude, I got a Vizio right here, guys. I got a 50 inch. I got a 50 inch Vizio right here, D series TV that I use. So no, you're good, man. Mineko's Night Market, the Goose Game, and the Goose Game. Oh yeah, man, some of the games look interesting. I think a lot of those games will be fun to watch. Not necessarily for me to play, but fun to watch. I don't need to see extended trailers for Bastion and Dragon Marked for Death. I didn't see those. There's no need for me to see the extended trailers for those games. Why I don't need to watch trailers for Bastion. I've already played. I beat Bastion. It's really good. I'm gonna buy it. There's no need for me to waste my time, guys, and watch an extended trailer of the game. Bastion is not a new game. I don't need to see an extended trailer. I've seen everything there needs to see about Bastion. Now, for those who don't know what Bastion is, then yeah, go check out the extended trailer. You know, Dragon Mark for Death is a game that I'm like, okay, I've already seen enough. There's already been tons of gameplay. Like, that game needs to come out. I don't want to watch any more on it. So yeah, I don't like wasting my time too much, and because I waste my time on doing dumb things sometimes anyway. So I'm not gonna watch extended trailers of games that I already know that I'm gonna get, or that has already got a lot of content, or I've already played a ton. So yeah. Golden Oracle says, players says D series model 4K HDR smart TV. No HDR on my TV, but D series 4K. Or is that yours? Is that what you're talking about? Prince Gross says, player says, I might get the kitty game. Okay. And I hate cats. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. Shout outs to Avidon. What's up, Avidon? How's it going? Or Avidon. How's it going, man? Thanks for coming out to the stream. Dragon Quest 11 is coming out super soon. Can't wait for the Switch info. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to Dragon Quest on the PS4 or PC. I'm not really sure which one to buy at this point. I need to see some PC stuff, like how it runs, some PC gameplay. I need to watch some more PC gameplay, if there is any. Does anybody know if there's PC gameplay for Dragon Quest 11? Thomas's questions. Do you think we will get more PS4 exclusive games like Transistor or on the Switch? I mean, if it's like a independent game, yeah, like an indie game, yeah, we'll see more. We might even get maybe some other games. Yeah, there might be some other stuff, you know. Not gonna say anything more than that. Oh man. Sly Cooper HD remaster? Don't they already have like a Sly Cooper trilogy type of deal? But it's PS3, huh? Yeah, I think they already have that, but it's PS3. Will we see it on PS4? I don't know. Are they done with Sly Cooper? Or is the movie still coming out? Is the Sly Cooper movie still coming out? Thank you, Avidon. I appreciate that. Bullet Age looks like a fun game to play. Yeah, Bullet Age looks good. Towerfall looks good too. Gamerpon, Sly Cooper can't come to Switch. That's a first-party Sony IP. That's like saying, bring Mario to PS4. It's not going to happen. Guys, have any other questions? We're barely an hour in, and we're already towards the end. You guys can talk to me about the indies. You guys can talk to me about anything else. You can make general comments. I can expand upon that. Statements. You could be like Fire Blast and say, this might be controversial, but I'll say this. So we can, anything that you guys want to talk about, that'd be fine. I know we already did a lot of live streaming today with the Nindies Direct, and I answered questions there, so maybe you guys don't have as many. But I'll be more than happy. You guys have my time right now. It's like saying, bring Horizon Zero Dawn to Switch. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's not going to happen. Milo the Giant Creek, Big Milo. I think we're just gonna go with Big Milo. I think Big Milo is good. I don't like calling you a giant, to be honest, because it's not like you're 7 foot, you know. So I'm just gonna call you Big. I'm just gonna call you Big Milo. Big Milo with the $2 donation and says, "Yo, OJ, can you play Undertale Spear of Justice?" Absolutely, dude. Thank you for the donation. Play some Undertale Spear of Justice. Big Milo. Am I picking up Undertale for the Switch? I might. I just need to see what, where my, what I'm doing at that time, It just all depends, man. My schedule's so busy. So I'm not really sure. But I mean, I might pick it up. I probably will. Players, check out the Takeover, which is coming to the Switch and PC. It looks better than Streets of Rage 4. Plus, okay. Alright, well, I'll definitely have to check it out. What's been going on in my life? Oh, lots of stuff. Work. Lots of stuff. Ariel Lazarus says, Players, I'm glad people in the chat weren't all being negative about Nindies. All the whining people are doing everyone else is annoying. I mean, yeah, obviously, my users, I educate my users greatly. But at the same time, people are allowed to whine if they want to whine, but they're wasting their time. In my opinion, it just causes unneeded stress for yourself when you whine like that. So to me, there's no point in whining like that. I don't see it. It's just an extra Nindies Direct. That's really or Nindies Showcase. Sorry, Nindies Showcase. So yeah, I don't really see the issue. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Nero. I'm actually doing really good. Thank you for asking. Deontay Hancock says, player says, why do you think they didn't show Travis Strikes again today? Do you think it'll be in the next regular Nintendo Direct instead? Yeah, it could be. That could be. They could want to wait till that game, you know, wait till the next bigger Direct to show it off, because this seemed like a pretty small presentation. So, I mean, how much time would they have spent on it? So maybe they want to wait for Nintendo Direct to kind of show that game off. I've just been working the Yellow Kazoo. Just been working. Nothing crazy. Nef1 says, player says, what's the next Capcom IP would you think, would you like to see them bring back? Capcom IP. They have a lot, dude. But I would really like to see, what are some of the Capcom RPGs? Like, they have Breath of Fire, right? Is that's them, right? So Breath of Fire. So that'd be good. I'm pretty sure that's Capcom, right? If I'm not correct. Well, yeah, it's not a. I mean, I don't understand why people are complaining about. And no matter what Nintendo shows at a Nindies Showcase, I don't think people are going to be excited about it because it's a Nindies Showcase. So people, the same people that are going to they're going to complain. Everyone's going to say it's Nindies. It's not. People get their minds ready for something because it's a live stream that Nintendo's doing. They get their minds ready for one thing, and then it ends up not being what they want. Then they get mad and say, "Oh, well, it's supposed to be bigger." It's not. It's just the Nindies. It's a little 15-minute Nindies Showcase. I mean, it almost seems as if some people make videos and are upset or say that it's bad, as if like they shouldn't have done it at all. You know what I'm saying? All they did was announce some release dates and announce some new games that some Nindies games are. You know what I'm saying? Nintendo never hyped it up to be the greatest thing in the world, and it was 15 minutes long. So, I mean, I don't really see the need to complain about just a little Nindies. It's like complaining about like the 4th grade football players aren't as good as like NFL or aren't as good as like varsity football. It's like you go to like a little league baseball game and like, man, these guys just aren't as good as the major leaguers. Oh, God, why am I watching this? It's like that. These are not the big games, you know what I'm saying? These are just Nindies. Like, people put expectations way too high in their minds for that. Now, obviously for me, like, there's a lot of Nindies games that do a lot of cool RPG stuff. Like Bastion to me is better than a lot of the big games. Transistor is better than a lot of the big games, but a lot of people don't think the same way that I think. But I almost compare it to that. People are sitting there expecting freaking Major League Baseball game or a NBA game, and that's not what it is. It's like, you know, it's like a Little League or something like that. Yeah, Breath of Fire. I'd love to see Breath of Fire come back. If Breath of Fire came back, I'd be a happy camper. Exactly. It's not an Indies Direct though, Jetty Plus. It's not an Indies Direct. It's called an Indies Showcase. It's just an Indies Showcase. It's not even a Direct. It's an Indies Showcase. When you put Direct in there, people get their expectations high. They hear Direct and they start acting like crack fiends and start scratching their neck and saying, like, let me get like that. That's the thing that people do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay if people want to complain about stuff, but all I'm saying is that why are your expectations so high for just a little Nindies Showcase? I did not hype up the Nindies Showcase as anything that's going to be spectacular. I'm going to be blown away. I just expected maybe a couple dates for like Dragon Mark for Death. I thought maybe we get Travis Strikes Again. We didn't get that. But everything, you know, that I thought that was going to be there with certain dates on stuff were there. I didn't think it was going to be anything crazy. I don't know what people are expecting. Like, if you go to a restaurant and it has a 2-star rating, you know, or a 3-star rating, don't expect 5-star food. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. And I think that's how people kind of go into these, you know. Well, I mean, I guess it's hard to generalize what everybody say. I see what you're trying to say. But like, I think that the biggest problem is that it's just like I said, it's just a vocal minority. It's really just a really loud vocal minority of people with a couple different, like, you know, you have some people that are on YouTube and stuff, but it's really just a vocal minority. That's really what it is. At the end of the day, there's a lot of games like for people to play, big games, like Wolfenstein 2 if you want to play that, Crash Bandicoot if you want to play that, Shining Resonance, or like Octopath, or even something like Blade Strangers, which is like somewhere in the middle, or like Monster Hunter. There's big games, there's small games, there's games for everybody. Out there on the Switch, you're looking at the system sales, everybody's buying it. Not everybody, but people are buying the system. I mean, it's doing well. So, I mean, you can sit there and you can look at the online and you can take what people are saying online and think that that's like the norm. But in actuality, people are going out there and buying the Nintendo Switch, playing Mario Tennis, playing Octopath, playing Legend of Zelda, playing all the different independent games, playing Hollow Knight. They're playing all these games and they're having fun. It's just people online that are really complaining, to complain, because look, people like to complain. I mean, it's a very common thing people do. People complain in every single industry. People complain in the music industry. People complain in movies. People complain. Look at Star Wars. Star Wars is crazy, dude. People complain about everything in Star Wars. People are always crying and whining like babies about every single thing. People harassing the Tran girl from Star Wars or whatever. I forgot what her name is. Like, she gets off of social media. People are crazy in every single form of media. People are absolutely insane. So I mean, I don't think this is not exclusive to video games. People do this. People get online and say stupidity pretty much at every. People complain about everything no matter what, even though, like I said, there's multiple different systems for you to have fun with. There's multiple different things. If PlayStation 4 or if Xbox One is so much better and gets so many different things, which I'm not seeing it, but if they're so much better, like people are trying to claim, and Nintendo's not doing this and that, and just go over to those systems. Those systems aren't, I mean, what's wrong with just, okay, well, I'm gonna play this system for a bit. Like I don't, you know, I don't see the need for all this, like this whining. In my opinion, I don't see the need for all of it, considering the type of content that we've been getting over the past few months. I don't see it. But hey, like I said, it's not. It is what it is. People are gonna complain. Let's see here. What do I think of Boruto so far? I think it's really good. Ariel says, "Persons, I know it's just an analogy, but funny enough, I actually watch all the Little League World Series and not the Professional World Series." Well, I know, and exactly. I mean, I know some people do that, but I'm just saying, like, some people expect, you know, Major League Baseball at a Little League game. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what it is. Indie developers are more of like the Little League, or more of like maybe like the scout team or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Nintendo are like the bigger teams, so you can't expect the same quality in that regards, you know, when it comes to how the games look. I mean, those games could have looked exactly the same, but had really good let's just say all those games had really good graphics, right? But they played exactly the same. People would have been excited about the Nindies, the Nin-Dee Showcase, right? If all those games had really good graphics, but played exactly the same, people would, oh, that was a great presentation, you know, like people would have said that instead, you know, because nobody was saying, I mean, Everspace, that's an indie game, and people are like, oh, that game looks great. It's an indie game just like the next game, you know what I'm saying? So it's really just based on the graphics, really, to be honest. It's just based on that. Let's see here. People are overlooking Into the Breach 2. Overlooking? Well, they just dropped it out of nowhere. I need to check it out myself. I need to check it out. Argo says, "Players, are you getting God of Wars? Here's a pretty good, and I hear it's pretty good, and I'm giving it a go. Plus, NIS is giving it a physical release. Yeah, I might pick it up. It just depends, man. Like I said, I've got so much stuff going on right now, guys. It's crazy. It's crazy how much stuff I got going on. It's really crazy how much stuff I got going on." J2 Blue says, "Since I personally don't understand the complaints. Did the PS4 get this much complaints when indies came to that platform?" No, because PS4 gets more of the graphics type of games, and like they don't do, like, they make games like The Last of Us. So I mean, there are some people complaining about like the remakes and some of the indies, you know, not bigger games. But I mean, at the end of the day, like right now, like you're looking at what PS4 is getting, and like they see stuff like, like Spider-Man, or they see stuff like God of War, or they see stuff like Devil May Cry being announced, and like Resident Evil 2 remake. Now, if Switch was getting Resident Evil 2 remake and Devil May Cry and games like that, then I don't think it wouldn't be as much complaining. But the fact that it's not getting those type of games, then that's the reason why people complain. But a lot of people who complain have a PS4, have an Xbox One to play those games. They're like console. God, I can't say that word, but they're like console fanboying or console, like, oh, well, this needs to be on Switch. Like me, I'm not like that. You know, I don't need to have everything on one platform. I don't need every platform to be the same. I don't need to have everything on one platform. I'm not like that. So to me, I find it as stupid. If you have the system that can play it, yet you're still complaining, that's dumb. That's just dumb to me, in my opinion. Like, you have a system that you can play it on, and you can play it, and you're going online and complaining about and whining about something that's just not happening. So, yeah, I think, like I said, there's a lot more. It's a very fluid, dynamic type of situation. Whatever comes to the Switch comes to the Switch. What doesn't. Like, there's no amount of whining online is going to change that. In my opinion, no amount of whining. From what I've realized and from what I've heard online, no amount of whining is going to make you feel better. Like, I guess you can vent. That's fine. You can vent, but that's not going to make you. At the end of the day, what you want isn't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you want isn't going to happen. So you wasted your time. So. Players, I'm shocked we saw nothing of Wargroove yet. Well, they actually did an update. They did an update for Wargroove. I think like a news article. They said it's going along smoothly. So maybe we see it later. Maybe it's still not ready to go. I got one of my boys, Stone Cold, that's sending me a copy of Okami HD physical. Deadlock 7 says, places also, if you look on the Steam, most of these indies are overwhelmingly positive rated. These are some very loved games on the go. Where you like amazing. Well, the thing about it is that people complain about Steam being overloaded, but I don't. Once again, like you haven't seen a single video. I have Steam, you know, and I have not made a single video, or I have not complained. Oh, there's so much shovelware on Steam. Oh, there's so many indies, and there's so many. It's like, don't buy them. Don't buy. You have the internet. People today's gamers have the internet. You can research anything you want at any point. Think about how it was back when I was a kid growing up in the 90s. You couldn't research anything. Everything was word of mouth. I wish I had the internet back in the early 90s to research, is this game going to be good? Can I watch gameplay of it? You have everything you want, and people still complaining about just something that they don't have to buy. You don't have to buy any of it. So that's the thing that kind of makes me a little bit upset from an old school gamer's perspective, is that you have the internet that you can research anything that you want, and yet you still complaining about games. You know, like, usually you complain about a bunch of stuff when there wasn't like well, how do I know which game's good? How do I know which game's bad? There's not enough resources. My internet sucks. I have net zero. You know what I'm saying? Like, back in the day, there was barely anything. So I don't feel much sympathy for people that want to cry about overcrowding of games or cheap games or shovelware. It's like, you have the internet. What does it matter what bad games come to the system or not? The thing that's bad about bad games is that if it's overcrowded and you don't know if the game's good or not because you can't research anything. So yeah, I don't feel any sympathy towards people that do that. It's like, I don't join in their plight with complaining about Steam overcrowding with game. I don't care about Steam overcrowding with game. Gabe Newell makes $4 billion. He's worth $4 billion. What? You think he's gonna change anything? Gabe Newell is worth $4 billion. You honestly think Gabe Newell's like, you know what? Due to overcrowding, we're gonna stop collecting royalties on all these games to not make me filthy rich. No, Gabe Newell does not give a crap about you guys crying about Steam. Nintendo does not give a crap about you guys crying about overcrowding of indie games. They make royalties on every single game sold. They're gonna keep them coming. You know, like, nobody's gonna cry. Nobody's gonna change anything based on people crying about games coming to the system. And yes, I know that they changed up like the Steam green light or whatever. They changed that up, but there's still a ton of games that come to Steam like every single day or whatever the case is. Nintendo's not gonna change anything because they make money off all the games. Oh man. Deadlock 7 says, well, yeah, you had the monthly gaming monthly gaming magazines. Yeah. Deadlock 7 says, places I met a lot of those Nindies are cream of the crop. Really love the indies on Steam, Bastion, Dust, Leasing Tale, literally some of the best. Yeah, I know what you're saying there, but I'm just saying, like, I was just expanding upon what people like, some of the complaints that I've seen people complaining about flooding of games. You know, it's like, why are you have the internet? You have the power of the freaking internet. Yet you're still complaining about a game that might be good or not, or flooding on the eShop. What does it matter to you? What does it matter to you? You know, what does it matter? Cosmo James says Nintendo could give the Switch for free, and some people would complain. I don't know about that. They didn't get a free game with it. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't think, like I said, guys, I don't think it's everybody. I think it's just like I said, it's a small minority, and it's the same thing with guys. It's the same thing with Xbox. It's the same thing with PlayStation. You've got a lot of Xbox, you got a lot of PlayStation dudes, or you got a lot of Nintendo dudes that will go and cry about Microsoft. It's like, why are you crying about Microsoft? Why are you complaining about Microsoft? Why? PS4 is there if you want it. PC's there if you want it. Switch is there if you want it. You have your exclusives. Why are you going online to complain about Microsoft? If you're not a Microsoft dude, you're not playing their games, why are you going online to complain about Microsoft? So it's the same thing. Microsoft people see a lot of hate too. Heck, all you got to do is follow Kid Smooth's Twitter account. You know what I'm saying? Why? I don't ever engage in the complaining about Microsoft, even though I'm not necessarily happy with everything Microsoft's done with their games and stuff. Why am I going to go online and complain about Microsoft? Even though I have a clear problem with what they've done this generation. I don't think they've done much anything, but I'm not going to waste my time complaining about Microsoft. Okay? I have an Xbox One. I have an Xbox One X, by the way, guys. So I am a purchaser of their content. I got a bunch of Xbox One games as well. But I'm not going to waste my time sitting there complaining about their content. It's like, whatever. When they make something good, I'll get it. If they don't, they don't. Like, nothing's going to change at this point. Nothing's changing. Well, Rocket League, technically, I don't think anybody owns the Psyonix developers, but I know that WB Games has picked up publishing for the physical version, right? So I guess they're not necessarily... I mean, I think it's still indie. They're still indie developers, because I don't think anybody owns them unless they were purchased. I don't remember Psyonix being purchased. So I still think Rocket League technically is an indie game, just because you're published by said whatever, that doesn't mean necessarily that it wasn't an indie game to begin with. They're just handling distribution, if I'm not correct. But the game was funded and made by Psyonix, so it's Rocket League still indie. Like, for example, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. You know, that game is picked up for publishing by, what was it, 505 or whatever, or Deep Silver, one of those two. I forgot which one. But it's still an indie game. You know, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, still an indie game. The Goose Game, though. Yeah, the Goose Game. Everyone's talking about that Goose Game. Indies are far more innovative than big budget. Well, I mean, because big budget, they have to do certain things, you know, to make sure that they do stuff for big budget people. Ariel Lazarus says, since I could only get one console and I got a Switch because I care most about Nintendo first party games, it'd be nice if more third party games come to Switch, but I'm not gonna freak out about it. Well, yeah, in your case, absolutely. It'd be nice, you know what I'm saying, if they get more. But they're getting what they're getting, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're getting what they're getting, and they're getting a lot more than what the Wii U got. So if I were you, I would be, I mean, if Nintendo's your type of go-to system, I would be happy that you weren't there, or maybe you were there in the Wii U era, because Nintendo Switch is getting 10 times more than what the Wii U got. I would even say maybe 20 times more than the Wii U got. And even if you talk about like bigger games, Nintendo's getting like stuff like Ys 8, they're getting stuff like Fortnite, they're getting Paladins, Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming to the Switch, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is coming to the Switch. The Valkyria Chronicles 4 has never been on a Nintendo system, or Valkyria Chronicles has never been on a Nintendo system. Dragon Ball Z, when it comes to home consoles, Dragon Ball Z hasn't been on a Nintendo system since the Wii, so it completely skipped the Wii U. Stuff like Paladins and Fortnite, that stuff would have never came to the Wii U. That stuff never came to the Wii U. That stuff probably would have never came to the Wii even, those type of games as well. So the fact that we're getting all that on the Switch is a major turn. So, I mean, I would say look at the games that are actually coming compared to what we got beforehand, and it's doing a lot, like way better. Still doesn't have everything, but you're not going to get everything. You're not going to get everything. So I suggest saving up and getting a PS4 and Xbox One if you want to play more. That's what I suggest. Mowing that extra lawn, man. Picking up that trash for somebody. Every dollar counts, man. When I was a kid, every freaking dollar counted. For games, for systems, every dollar counted, man. When I wanted a Dreamcast, every single dollar counted. I saved for a year and a half, man, to pick up a Dreamcast. And I think my mom helped me out, too, to get one. But, I mean, I think I saved like $70, you know, and then my mom helped out for Christmas. So I've been there where you can't afford stuff, but every penny counts, man. Save up. That's what you really got to do. Like I said, I've been on the, you've heard me on these live streams before. I don't have much sympathy for people that say I can't afford stuff, because your boy went through it for 17 years of, I can't afford this. I can't afford this. I have no money for this, for year after year after year after year after year after year. And I didn't have indie games that were cheaper to play, okay? I didn't have that, all right? I didn't have those type of things. You guys got indie games that you guys can at least pick up and enjoy that are really good, that you can put hours and hours and hours of content into. Heck, man, you guys even got stuff like Torna the Golden Country. Y'all even got high quality games that are cheaper than normal games. We didn't have that as much growing up. You know what I'm saying? We had those $70 games, $50 games, and $60 games. We had no internet to research if those games were going to be amazing. You have to have magazines if they were good. Maybe they'd be in the magazine, maybe they wouldn't. You had no idea. So you had to rent everything. So you're not going to catch, like I said, I understand, I got you, man, but you're not going to catch too much sympathy from me, man, because you didn't have it like I had it growing up, man. Like, you better be happy in these days. You guys got free games that are amazing. You can go and play Paladins for free. For free. You can play a game as high as quality as Paladins for free. You can play Fortnite for free. Come on, like, dude. Bruh, I know you got stuff like Dead Cells. I mean, man, I don't got much sympathy for people saying they can't afford games, man. Y'all don't know how it was back when I was a kid. Games were more expensive. $70 cartridges for Chrono Trigger. Games were more expensive back then as they were right now. $70 back in 1995. You know what inflation does? Do you know you know how much that is via inflation? Imagine seeing the greatest game ever, for what you think is the greatest game in a magazine, Chrono Trigger, and you go to the store and it says $70. Imagine that as how old was I when Chrono Trigger came out? 5, 6. Imagine that as a 7-year-old kid and just looking at that price tag like $70. Bruh, that was like $1 million back then. Imagine being a kid and looking at a price tag like that for a game that you really want. $70 in 1995. $70. Bruh. Ain't nobody got $70 for that game. Bro, nobody got $70 for that game, dude. Oh my gosh. Shout outs to, sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there. I went on a little bit of a rant. Let's see. Shout outs to Zema Duvant. So Fantasy Star 4 released at $100. Exactly, dude. Robert Lee with a $1.99 donation as well. Shout outs to Robert Lee. Is that Viking Nation, dude? Shout outs, dude. Zema Duvant. Shout outs. Thank you guys so much for the donations. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. Fantasy Star $100, dude. Games were hella expensive. Dude, I bought Pokemon Stadium. Pokemon Stadium was... It was 50. Yeah, Pokemon Stadium was $59.99 when it launched back in 1990 something, you know, or was it 2000? One of those two. $60. So games are $60 today. But we're talking about inflation here. $60 for Pokemon Stadium on the N64, dude. $60 for that game. Yikes. Bro, $70,000 or $70 is like to me is like a couple thousand, bro. You find Chrono Trigger for $16. At one point, Chrono Trigger was really cheap at some places. Yeah, you could have got it for really cheap years after it came out. So if you grabbed the cartridge back then, you were good. I watched my bro play pay $85.99 for Road Rash from the Hills in 1995. Yeah, man. You said I'm not looking. You said I'm not looking for sympathy. I was just saying I had a choice and picked the Switch, looking at all the facts, and I love it. I love the third party when it comes to Switch, but I don't expect it. Yeah, I'm not really. That wasn't really more to you, Ariel. That wasn't really more to you. That was more to. I know you were being respectful and everything. That was more to me, just ranting and making things entertaining for you guys. But no, I wasn't harping on you per se. But I was just talking about the general idea of people saying, "Oh well, this isn't coming." Why isn't it coming to this? And I'm like, bro. Like when people say I can't afford this or I can only afford this one thing, I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go off on that because it's entertaining when I go off on my little rant. So it's really just for entertainment value, man. Don't take it as if I was like railing on you or anything like that, because I'm not. I completely understand what you're saying, and I get your plight. I get a lot of the kids that can't afford certain things or they can only get one, and obviously they want to have everything on their system. It's just like I said before. when I was a kid, you guys don't understand my pain. You know, you guys do not understand my pain. We had money for nothing. We had money literally for nothing. I had to go to my friends' houses. Sometimes we'd get games, but it was very rare. We actually there was a place like where I got my name, Player Essence. There was a place called Player One, and we would go to Player One, and we would play, like you can $1 for an hour, you know. So you can go, you give them $1, you can play this system for an hour. You give them $2, you can play this system for 2 hours. So that's how we went. That's how we play games, man. Like, we didn't have the money. Like, I played a lot of N64 games. I played Resident Evil on PlayStation. You know, I played that on there, but you had to rent memory cards too, or you can bring your own memory card, or you can rent memory cards. But the only problem is that if somebody rented off the same memory card and overwrote your data or something like that, then so that was a bit sketchy. So I ended up buying my own memory card. No, not buying my own memory card. I ended up, yeah, I did actually. Sorry, I did. Swap Meet bought a PlayStation 1 memory card, and I used that memory card to beat Resident Evil 2 and to beat Resident Evil 1. I used that memory card, and I would just, like, every now and then I would just bring that memory card in, pay my $1, play Resident Evil for as much as I could in that hour, then I'd leave, get my next $1. Bro, I'd go there with nickels, dimes, pennies. Like, here's my $1. Let me play real quick. Let me get it in. And then I would leave. And sometimes I'd have to pick between candy or the video games. Sometimes I would pick candy, guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes I would pick candy. You could get these sour straws. They had these really big sour straws that you could get for $1. It's just like a big sour straw. So sometimes I'd be like, man, I got $1. Do I want a sour straw? Do I want to play this game? I'm like, well, I just played, so I'm gonna get a sour straw and like relax. Oh man. Melface Sky says, "Questions. Do you think Xbox All Access is worth it?" No. I would just save up and buy the system. So no, I wouldn't do it. But I can understand why. People like Xbox All Access for some people would be good. James Clarkson says, "Am I counted as a regular now?" What do you mean by counted as a regular? What's up, Brad? How's it going, dude? Stadium came out in 2000. Yeah, there you go, 2000. But I was saving up for it since like 1999. That's how long it took me to get the money, because I actually paid for Pokemon Stadium with all my money. My mom did not help me at all. All she did was my mom gave me a ride to the mall to go buy Pokemon Stadium. That's what my mom did. She gave me a ride to go. So I went there. And I bought, how old was I? I was 13 when Pokemon Stadium came out. So yeah, she gave me a ride to the mall, and it was the best. I was like, oh yeah, I got Pokemon Stadium, dude. So yeah, it was good. Like, I remember like one Christmas, my mom bought me, like, all I wanted for Christmas, man, was a couple packs of Pokemon cards. She bought me like 2 packs of Pokemon cards, and she bought me like a strategy guide for Pokemon Yellow. Because there was no internet back then, so I didn't know like certain Pokemon moves and abilities. I didn't know what to keep and what not to keep, so I really needed a strategy guide. And that's how simple things were for me back then, dude. And that made me happy. 2 packs of Pokemon cards. What are they, like $2? Back then they're like $2 each, $2.50 each. 2 packs of Pokemon cards and a strategy guide and a Pokemon Yellow strategy guide, and I was happy. I was happy. That's what I got for Christmas. It was just that. That was one of the best Christmases that I can remember. Was my mom doing that for me, you know? So I was happy. I got 2 holographics too, so it even made me better. Even made me more happy. Started gaming in 2001. Oh, new school gamer. OJ, I would love for these game stores to exist. Yeah, they kind of do exist. It just depends. You got to look in your area to see. But yeah, a lot of the mom and pop stores that would allow kids to hang out and play games and have multiple TVs, a lot of those are gone because of like, just because of the way gaming is now in these days, you know, like digital distribution, really cheap indie games, just stuff like that. It's just these type of mom and pop stores, they can't beat Amazon. They can't beat that. And like kids today have more ways of making money than ever before. Kids today have the internet to make money. You know, if you're a kid, you can make money off the internet. There's different ways that you can make money that you couldn't make back then. Although there were some opportunities kids had to make in terms of making money. So, I mean, I think it's a little bit weird, but I mean, I've seen kids sell stuff, you know, like way easier on the internet. Like, you can go on eBay, you can sell your old stuff. Back then in the day, like, you couldn't sell your stuff like that, you know? So, you have to do like a yard sale. Who knows if you're going to buy it? So today kids have a lot more ways of making money to buy things that they want. So even if you don't have a lot of money, well, there's ways for you to make money. You can sell stuff on the internet, you know? Whereas when I was a kid, that wasn't an option, you know? So, let's see here. Valhalla Outcast says, player, since any game that took you 50 hours to beat was a bad deal at $1 an hour, I would have went with the straw too. Well, it never took me. I mean, Resident Evil isn't a 50-hour game, right? Like, if I would spend around, like, Resident Evil, like, you can beat that game in, like, I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you can beat that game in like 15 hours. Like, if you know what you're doing, you can beat it a lot faster. I think it probably took me like around 11 or 12 hours to beat. So it was actually a good deal for me because it took me, you know, and you know, sometimes they were cool. Like, I went in there so much and like we bought baseball cards, we bought Pokemon cards, we bought candy. Like, they were not like, okay, time's up, you know, like they would let me get to a save point. They'd be like, hey man, like, okay, well, it's not busy. You can play for another 30 minutes. Sometimes they let me just have double the time. So it wasn't like they were strict on me the whole time. I remember, I can never forget this dude. It was a big bald dude that worked there. Yeah, he was cool. It wasn't like they were rushing me every single time. So there's times I got 2 hours in. There was times I got like an hour 45. If nobody was, now if somebody's waiting on the PlayStation, then okay, then I gotta get off if somebody's waiting, unless I want to pay another $1. But if nobody was waiting and it was like a slow day, like they were completely cool because like we literally spent all of our money there, you know. So yeah. Yeah, the first RE could be beat in a couple hours. So, I mean, but most people didn't know how to beat it that fast back then. You have to remember, this was like right when it came out. People weren't speed running Resident Evil. Dude, you were scared as hell. You didn't know what was going on. Like, you know, you were getting bit by zombies, man. You were dying. It wasn't like how it is now where you can kind of just go through. You've seen other people play. You can't research strategies, you know. So back then, it wasn't like you weren't going to beat the game that quick back then, you know, like as you were first playing it. You weren't going to do that. So, you know. A bad game for $70. Yeah, well, you never spent $70 on a bad game, dude. I mean, I know some people did. Like, some kids, I remember there was one kid that had like a Neo Geo, dude. Like, his parents bought him a Neo Geo. He was this rich kid, and his parents bought him a Neo Geo, and we went over there to play the Neo Geo, and we were just like amazed on like how big the system was, and just like we were just amazed because like we all knew about the price. That was the thing about Neo Geo. Everybody was like, yo, this is expensive. This is like luxury. This is like a freaking arcade in your house. And like we would play the games and I'm just like, and while it was cool, I wasn't like blown away. Like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than Sonic. And I think that's the biggest problem with Neo Geo was when you played the games, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than freaking Aladdin on the Genesis, or this is so much better than like Lion King, or this is so much better than you know, then Mega Man X2 or Mega Man X. Like, oh no, Mega Man X is pretty good. Mega Man X is a lot better than these Neo Geo games. So that was the biggest problem why I was like, I don't want a Neo Geo. It's like, first of all, it's expensive as hell. Second of all, it's like these games aren't like, oh my gosh, so much better than what we can play on our old Super Nintendo or on our Sega Genesis. You know, I was like, Sega's like $150 back then, you know, or like $100 or whatever it was. So for me, I never even thought about getting like a Neo Geo or anything like that. So yeah. Party Man, I remember Dragon Ball Sagas. That is a PS2, GameCube, and Xbox game, if I'm not correct, right? Dragon Ball Sagas, it's like an RPG. It's an RPG Dragon Ball Z game that's not really good. It almost reminds me of like the Legacy of Goku games on the Game Boy Advance. Those games weren't really good. Obviously, it's different than that game, but it just reminds me of that. Yeah. We all had that one rich kid that had the Neo Geo. The rest of us were exchanging Sega games in the 90s. Yeah. Whenever my friend went on vacation, his parents obviously they weren't going to be at home. So like for the summer, he'd let us borrow, like, because he'd go on vacation, he'd be gone the whole summer. So he'd let us borrow the Sega Genesis during the summers. So we would be playing like Sonic and all of that, you know. And I remember one time my friend Ray, when I was in 6th grade, he went on vacation to like Greece for like the whole summer, and he let us borrow the PlayStation. Dude, oh my god, that's when I realized that I made a mistake between the 64 and the PlayStation. It wasn't until, dude, he had Gran Turismo, he had Final Fantasy, he had all of these games, and I was just like, I've made a huge mistake. That's when I know I made a huge mistake, dude. That's when I know. I was like, okay. Oh my gosh. N64, dude, N64 was, it was great, but you don't know what I'm talking about, dude. No, you guys know what I'm talking about with the N64. You guys know what I'm talking about, man. Like there's a lot of PS1 games. Don't get me wrong, N64, obviously N64 was revolutionary. N64 revolutionized the industry. You can't discredit what the N64 did for the industry. You can't. But man, dude, PlayStation, PS1, man. Should I just start listing the RPGs for PS1, man? Can we just start can we just start listing the games for PS1, dude? It's like, oh, you got like Parasites, Eve, oh, Legend Dragoon, then you got, oh, Chrono Cross, oh, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9. I mean, oh my, Xenogears. It's just like one after another. Resident Evils, you know, day one Resident Evils, you know, like, it's hard, man. It's hard. Yeah, you know what? The thing about it, Michael O'Brien, is that N64 games didn't last very long, though. That was the thing. Like, it wasn't like there was a bunch of N64 games that you could play for, I mean, like, outside of, like, multiplayer, like GoldenEye, right? But most of the games, it wasn't like there's like a lot of single-player games that you could play. Remember, there was no online play back then with N64, so it's not like I could play people online. So if my friends weren't over, if they were doing something like, okay, well, then GoldenEye multiplayer was nothing. So then what do you do? Like, that was the biggest problem with the N64, was that, like, okay, like, yeah, there's some great games, but once you beat those games and the single players, you pay for 7 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours, then what? Whereas PlayStation, it's like, okay, well, I've got Final Fantasy 7. Oh, that can be like 40 or 50 hours or even more. Oh, I got Final Fantasy 8. That's like 1,000,000 hours. Oh, I've got Xenogears. That's like however many hours. It's like there's just so many more RPGs to play, man, that last a long time. And that's the biggest problem that I had, is that the games just wouldn't last, because I was in the same boat as you. I wasn't able to get a lot of games per year either, but the N64 games don't last very long. You can beat them very quickly. A lot of the games were quick. So you were stuck, you know, replaying. Like I told you guys about the story. I mean, I replayed Star Fox 64 times in a row, outside of all the other times that I beat it, because I thought maybe something would happen, because I didn't have anything else to play. Players is the old magazine that demo disc. Yeah, man. You're a real new school gamer. You started in 2011. You must be really young. Shout outs to Pizza Wolf though. N64 was the Xbox before the Xbox. Yeah, it was the Xbox, dude. You're right about that. It really was the Xbox. And then like the old president, Yamauchi was like, oh yeah, people who play RPGs like losers in their parents' basement, you know, or something like, he said something like that. And that's what I was just like, oh, that's how you know, that's what seals the N64's fate to me, was that quote from Yamauchi where he dissed RPGs, you know, and that's like wasn't the tone for the N64. It's like that's pretty much what the N64 was to me, Nintendo's attitude. Like a lot of sports games, a lot of Kobe Bryant's courtside, you know, like a lot of collectathon platformers, man. Like it's just racing games, which is fine. I mean, but PlayStation just had a lot more. Yeah, Breath of Fires. PlayStation had way too. It's just hard, man. Yeah, I mean, no, N64 had Majora's Mask, Banjo, Star Fox. Those are all great, but Star Fox you can beat in a few hours. Ocarina of Time, I mean, that's about 20 hours or so, first playthrough. Majora's Mask, once again, like another maybe 15, 20 hours first playthrough. Banjo, what's that, 10, 15 hours first playthrough, maybe even less. I mean, and then you're done. Whereas Final Fantasy VII, way more than 40, 50 hours plus. Final Fantasy 8, 50 hours plus. Xenogears 50 hours plus, like Parasite's Eve, like you just had way more to where you can spend a lot of time. You can get N64 games, you'd be done. Like you can just rent stuff, and that's what I did. I just rented N64 games. You'd beat them sometimes even in a day. You can save and you can have one stint of 5 hours, play it, then another stint of 6 hours or 4 hours or 3 hours, whatever, and then you'd be done. That was the problem with N64 overall, was that it relied a lot on replaying the same game instead of having like grand adventures that would take a long time. So for me, that was the biggest problem. Now, in today's day, obviously that's not as big of a deal for me, because I can afford what games I want. I get free games all the time. So obviously I have too much to play. But as a kid, PlayStation was definitely, like, when my friend let me borrow my PlayStation, dude, like, I was playing Gran Turismo the whole time. I was playing freaking Final Fantasy 8 the whole time, or Final Fantasy 7. It was great, man. It was like, it lasted the whole summer. Final Fantasy 7 lasted freaking almost the whole summer for me. Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 8. He had both of those. And that lasted, like, dude, I put like 100-something hours into those games or something like that. I was like, dude, 2 games is like 100 hours, whereas like my whole N64 library, was like 100 hours, so that was a problem for me. James Clarkson says, players, can you list the best console for each generation in your opinion? Okay, yeah, we can do that. Why not? Let's just say Gen 1 Nintendo or whatever. I don't know how we gonna look at Gen. Let me look up a list so I know exactly what, so we can make sure which gens are what. All right, so every console generation. All right, so the first generation. This will be fun. The first generation. We're on Wikipedia right here, guys. So you guys want to see this too? Let me see it so you guys can also see it as well. So we can just kind of look through, and you guys can kind of give your thoughts and your opinions on the generation. So I'm gonna change it to so you guys don't see me. Actually, we can actually go to this. We got an editor here. Let's go ahead and let's just go to this. All right, here we go. So, shout outs to Streamlabs OBS. Let's go. All right, guys. So we've got, if alerts aren't activated, actually, I'll add an alert box. So if any of you guys like donate or anything, it'll pop up. So I'll add an alert box real quick here, guys. All right. I already got an alert box. Add existing. Right here. So yeah, it'll pop up. So here we go. Okay, so it's right underneath me, alert box. All right, great. So let's take a look. So we've got the first generation. We've got 1972 to 1980. We got Magnavox Odyssey, Ping-O-Tronic, Atari's Home Pong, Coleco Telstar, and Color TV Game. I wasn't alive for any of this, guys. I wasn't alive for any of this, and I don't know any of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick the Magnavox Odyssey because it's the old school. It was the first home console game, or first home video game console. So let's go ahead and go with the Magnavox Odyssey in 1972. Was this in That 70s Show? I don't think they ever showed this in That 70s Show. Anyway. All right, let's go to the next second generation. You have the Fairchild. What the hell kind of name is that? Fairchild F, Fairchild Channel F2, RCA Studio 2, Atari 2600. I've played that. Bally Astrocade. I have no idea what that is. VC 4000, Magnavox Odyssey 2. I've played that. Intellivision. I've played a lot of that. VTech Create Vision. Don't know what that is. Epoch? Cassette Vision? Have no idea what that is. Arcadia, I know what that is. I've played a little bit of it, but not really. Atari 5200, I've played that. ColecoVision, I've played that, and Vectrex, I've played a little bit of that. Okay, out of all of these, I'm just gonna go with the Atari models, guys. Just the Ataris was probably the best out of these. I think Atari was my favorite. I played a lot of this one right here, the 2600, and I've played the 5200, both of these. But this one I've played a lot more. This old school VCR looking one, I played a lot of this back in the day, like a lot of like Pac-Man and crap that came out. My friend had one and he let us borrow it, and we would play that as a kid. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. For the second generation. Okay, third generation, we're getting to a little bit more modern times here, guys. Okay, we're getting to a little bit more modern times. So let's go ahead. Third generation, we've got the Nintendo Entertainment System, awesome. Sega Master System, that was also really good. I had a buddy with the Sega Master System, and we would play that. Atari 7800, this is when things kind of fell off the radar for them. Super Cassette Vision, have no idea what that is. Heard about it though. PV1000, don't know what that is, and Action Max, don't know what that is either. Obviously, guys, I think the clear winner here, the clear pick is the NES. It was the NES, that's the third generation winner. Sega Master System is great, but the NES was the winner to me. NES was awesome, really good. So yeah, the third generation winner is the NES, for me, my opinion. Now, the fourth generation, interesting, because you have some really good stuff here that I played as a kid, but, you know, I think there's really going to be one. If you know me, you know what system I'm going to pick. You know what I'm saying? So you have, sorry, you guys can't see all of it. I will move it to where you guys, there you go. You guys can see it. Okay, so we have the TurboGrafx 16, which was really good. That's where Bonk came into play. Bonk was awesome. And of course, 1987. 1987 is a fantastic year, guys. 1987 might be the greatest year of all time. I think 1987 is probably the greatest year of all time. Nothing can top 1987. So first of all, shout out to 1987. Okay. So yeah, you have that, and then you also have Sega Genesis. Okay, Sega Genesis was amazing, really good. Sonic and all that. You have the Neo Geo. So there you go, Neo Geo boys. Neo Geo boys. You've got the Super Nintendo. Dude, the fourth generation was freaking packed, man. Like right there. Sega Master System, TurboGrafx, and Super Nintendo. Pretty good. Turbo Duo, which was pretty cool. Well, no, actually, no, I didn't play Turbo Duo. CDI, that system's crap. Pioneer Laser Active, that system's crap. Sega 32X, that system's weird because you plug it into your Sega Genesis and all that. So I think the clear winner here, obviously, Sega. This is the birth of the real Super Console Wars. You know what I'm saying? Super Console Wars. I would say that the Super Nintendo, to me, was the best one. The Super Nintendo wins just because of all of the great. Obviously, it had like Breath of Fire. You had Chrono Trigger. You had Secret of Mana. It was just, Mega Man X. It was just game after game after game. Super Mario RPG. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Sega Genesis I'd probably say was a runner-up, and then I'd say TurboGrafx was next after that because they were all great. All those systems were great. TurboGrafx was really good. It was really good, and it had the coolest name. I think most people thought, "Yo, TurboGrafx? Dude, that means it has better. That means the graphics are better." Then the Genesis, it's turbo. It's turbo. That was what my friends, like my friend Bobby, he had the TurboGrafx, and that's what everyone was kind of saying as a kid. Obviously, they didn't convince everybody about that, but yeah, it was it was cool. It was cool. It was cool to see that. So I'm going to go with the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I think that was the best one. So I think that's the clear fourth gen winner in my opinion. All right, so let's move on to the fifth generation. And this is where I think I made my first mistake. This is where I made my first mistake. But let's talk about this. FM Towns Marty. That sounds like a freaking street on like Family Guy or something like that. I have no idea what this thing is. FM Towns Marty, Fujitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You have the Atari Jaguar. I remember when this crap was being on TV. Like, and I look at this, I'm like, this thing doesn't. First of all, this thing doesn't look like. They said 32 bits. Like, what's 32 bits about it? It looked like a Super Nintendo games. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, I was like, they didn't fool me back then with their stupid weirdo controller too. I thought the controller looked dumb. I thought the controller looked really stupid when I was a kid. I thought this was looked like a toilet bowl. You know what I'm saying? We just call it the Dookie Jaguar, the Jaguar Dookie. That's what I called it back when I was a kid, the Jaguar Dookie. Oh no, they said it's a 64-bit media system, 64-bit. And look, there was nothing 64-bit about this thing. So yeah, they said it was 64, not 32. But yeah, look at this controller. As a kid, did you think that why would you want a freaking math exam on your controller? Who thought that it was a good idea to put a math exam on your controller? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then is that a hashtag? It's like a numeral. There's a star. That's the dumbest thing that I've ever seen. And I called this out when I was a kid. I was like, this is stupid. This is a stupid looking controller. Yeah, there's some cool buttons on there at the top, but what is that at the bottom there? You got Scantron on the bottom? No, man. The Jaguar, that's what we call it, the Jaguar Dookie, the Jaguar Toilet Bowl Dookie. So no, I wasn't down with the Jaguar, man. I wasn't down with the Jaguar. Neo Geo CD, once again, at that point, everybody just associated Neo Geo with like Bentleys and like Rolls Royce. Like, you ain't getting a Neo Geo, so you might as well just give up your hopes on getting a Neo Geo. You ain't getting one. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting one. It's too expensive. So nobody even thought about that. PlayStation. When PlayStation first came out, people were like weirded out. It's like, wait a minute, CDs, like not cartridges, like you're gonna crack them. So PlayStation actually did not do amazingly well with all the kids and everything at the beginning. It was like a hipster console. That's what I remember from the PlayStation. It was a hipster console. Everybody was still playing Super Nintendo. Everybody was still playing Sega Genesis. Like Sega, like, because remember, this is 1994 that PlayStation came out. So Super Nintendo was still in the thick of it. Sega Genesis is still in the thick of it. You're still playing Sonic. There's still great games. I mean, Chrono Trigger hadn't even come out yet at that point. Secret of Mana was still there. Breath of Fire 2 was still there. So, like, they were still hyping up Super Nintendo. So everybody was like, dude, this is a hipster console. You're going to crack those CDs. You're going to scratch them. It's not going to be able to play your game. So when it first came out, I'm just telling you guys, obviously it turned into something amazing. But in my opinion, PlayStation didn't really take off until Final Fantasy VII. That's when everybody was like, oh, okay, PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now this is where it's at. Because back then, a lot of kids were worried about scratching the CDs, about breaking the CDs. That was a big worry, guys. Like almost like the Red Ring of Death worry, just without the online to be able to aid it. But it was like that. Whenever people talked about, hey, have you seen the PlayStation? Like, it runs on CDs, and it was like, everyone, like, no, man, I'm gonna scratch it. It's gonna break. It's gonna crack. Then what happens? Because, you know, with cartridges, you be throwing your cartridges, slam them all over the place. Nothing happens, you know, for the most part. So that was the big worry with PlayStation back in the day. So nobody had a PlayStation. Like, none of my friends back in '94, nobody had one. It wasn't until Final Fantasy VII to where people started getting that, and to where my friends started getting PlayStation. So I don't have much experience with the PlayStation in the early days, but later I played it a lot. Sega Saturn, also another system, too expensive. We're still playing the Sega Genesis, you know? And I think this is Japan for 1994. Yeah, and then in America, 95. So, but in 94, I mean, there was no internet like that, so nobody even knew about it. Unless gaming magazines, that was it. Gaming magazines, we heard about it. 3DO, nobody talked about it. Too expensive, weirdo system. Nobody talked about it. N64, obviously everybody was waiting for the N64. That was a big thing that was coming up. So yeah, N64 was great. Amiga, nobody was talking about that. Amiga was dead. Amiga was dead back when Amiga was popular. Amiga was dead. So yeah, man, Amiga, that thing was dead. It was dead on arrival. Nobody talked about Amiga. Nobody cared about Amiga. PCFX, once again, nobody cared about that. I think this is a Japan thing too. So PC Engine, known as TurboGrafx. Okay, so people cared about it, but there you go. And the Apple Pippin, obviously nobody cared about that either. So out of these generations, guys, obviously it's between two systems here. It's between the PlayStation and the N64. And at the time, obviously I played more N64. I had one. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to pick the PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pick fifth generation winner is the PlayStation. You can't deny what PlayStation had. Yes, N64 was revolutionary. Yes, N64 was amazing. But PlayStation was PlayStation, and you can't deny what PlayStation did with Final Fantasy and all the games. So it had everything almost that the N64 had and more. It had adventure games, it had action games, it had RPGs. N64 you can't roll out with Quest 64, Paper Mario, 1,000 Year Door, and like what else? How many you can't? I mean, they literally had you can count the number of RPGs on one or two hands on the N64. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. I can't possibly give the winner of this generation to a system that literally has no RPGs on it. I can't. Especially following the Super Nintendo, where some of the most successful games on the system were RPGs, and then your next system literally has none. I can't. No. So yeah, it's going to go. It's going to be the PlayStation was the winner of this generation, in my opinion. All right, so let's go to move on to the 6th generation. Now we're at really look at all these systems here, guys. Now look at what happened here. Bam. Look at what happened here. So we have the Dreamcast. This could be arguably the best generation. This is arguably the best generation with the highest quality of games. And I would argue that this might be the best generation with the highest quality of games. The 6th generation might be beast tier because the last place winner or last place had amazing games. Dreamcast, PS2, GameCube, Xbox. Dude, that's pretty freaking good, man. That is really, really good. Gen 6 was good because it has the old school, games that has some 2D stuff. It had a lot of 3D stuff, obviously, but it has some 2D stuff, it has some old school stuff, but then it also has online play. Now, the online play isn't as good as 7th and 8th generation, but it has the old school and it has the new school, and it has a blend of that. You saw it come together for the first time with online-enabled systems. All of these systems were online-enabled. GameCube was obviously the weakest in the online factor, but you could play GameCube online with Phantasy Star Online. So yes, there was only like one game or whatever, Phantasy Star Online 1 and 2. But they still had it there. And even so, like PlayStation 2 had a lot of online games. Xbox obviously had a lot of online games. Dreamcast had a number of online games. So you saw the online, it was exciting. There was this air of people weren't douchebags. People were douchebags at times, but people were excited to chat online. People would work together in games. You didn't see the rampant racism and other problems that you see in online gaming today because everyone was just excited to be able to actually play a cooperative or a competitive game against somebody else. It was just different. I don't know what to tell you guys because I played Halo online when it first came out. Halo 2, that is. And I played some of the PS2. I played SOCOM online. I played Madden online. And it was just, the feeling was completely different than how I feel about online today. How I feel about online today is like, okay, yeah, that's great. That's really good. I can play online. But back then, it was just a magical feeling. So I'm going to sit here and say this might be the greatest generation. Is the 6th generation. I might just sit there and say that it is the greatest generation. But if I had to rank them in order, being completely objective, guys, if I had to rank them in order, the PS2 wins. PS2's number 1. You can't Xenosaga Trilogy. Xenosaga Trilogy. The problem is that the PS2 has Xenosaga Trilogy. Xenosaga Trilogy, Wild Arms, Rogue Galaxy, there's just too much. It has Onimusha, obviously. It has Grand Theft Auto. It just has everything. PS2 just has everything and then some. GameCube got Resident Evil 4. Oh, the PS2 got Resident Evil 4 as well. You know what I'm saying? So GameCube was great. I'm going to say PS2, GameCube, Dreamcast, and then Xbox. I'm going to put it in that order. But yeah, PS2, GameCube, Dreamcast, Xbox. Yeah, PS2 wins this one. So PS2 wins 2 straight generations in a row. It wins 5th generation and it wins 6th generation. Let's go to move on to the 7th generation where we even lose another console manufacturer. This one's interesting because this is the whole Super Blue Ocean strategy. Super Mario Sunshine was good, but I didn't think Super Mario Sunshine was better than Super Mario 64, and I didn't think it was better than Super Mario World. I didn't think it was better than Super Mario 3. I didn't think it was better than a lot of previous Super Mario games, so Super Mario Sunshine isn't like big on my radar. But yeah, GameCube was great, guys. Metroid Prime was great, but once again, lack of RPGs. There was some RPGs on there, but the lack of RPGs compared to PS2. All right, so let's get to the 7th generation, guys. The 7th generation is interesting because this is where things went downhill. If you want me to be completely honest, this is where things went downhill. This is where the internet really started to get in and people really started to just say ridiculous things. This is the birth of N4G. This is the birth of all things that are evil in gaming is right here. Now, the 7th generation had amazing games, but the birth of all things evil in modern gaming is right here. Microtransactions, well, not necessarily paid online, but just certain things with online, how they did things, DLCs, stuff like that. Like Nintendo and their ridiculous, make me waggle away, like doing just like weirdo stuff, man. PlayStation, $600 system, you know what I'm saying? Like every system, Red Ring of Death. I mean, every system has some type of weirdo thing attached to it. Like Xbox 360, once again, Red Ring of Death. PlayStation 3, $600. Wii, like instead of just being able to play Donkey Kong Country, a 2D side scroller with freaking D-pad, you gotta shake and do so. Like every system is a freaking weirdo. Like, and this is the birth. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little passionate about this, but I noticed that everything that's bad or things that went wrong was here. So yes, I do like the 7th generation overall. I think it's okay. I wouldn't even say, no, I don't, I'm not even gonna say that I like it. There were some games that I like. I like the Xbox 360, but holy crap, I have never had so many roller coaster emotions than in the 7th generation. Because like I said, the birth of online, when people started getting broadband, you know, internet was expanded, right? Internet, all these systems can play games online at a somewhat decent level, if not very high level. So better than last generation, but this generation just triggers me a bit. This is a little bit of a triggering generation, in my opinion, just because I don't like stuff that happened in this generation, and it carried over to the next generation. It carried over to the 8th generation, in my opinion, somewhat. Yeah, this is the bald OJ timeline. This is the beginning of the roots of the bald OJ timeline. Just to let you guys know, this is where my hair at the follicles at OJ's, you know, past OJ, 2005, I was 18 years old. So 18-year-old OJ, like something just snapped in my head and I was like, what was that? And I was like, oh, it was nothing. But really, it was the timeline splitting. That's when the timeline split, dude. It was the freaking, this generation is when the timeline split, which made me angry. So this was it, man, dude. But this generation did trigger me. I'll be honest. I'm not, I think this might be one of the 7th generation, one of the worst generations ever. It might be the worst generation. 7th generation is trash, guys. Great games on the systems, on Wii, on obviously we got Xenoblade, right? Xenoblade, Last Story. We got Lost Odyssey. We've got great games on these systems, but every single system had some type of weirdo type of thing that was just off-putting. And I can't remember that with the GameCube or the PS2 or the Xbox. I don't see that with those systems. I don't see that. PS2 was just a solid system when it came out. Great games. GameCube was just a solid system when it came out. Great games. Xbox had online enhanced capabilities. If you wanted to play online, whatever you paid for it, but it had that. Great games, whatever you had on there. Dreamcast, great games. Yes, it had the Sega Net and some of the things that was weird with some stuff, but overall, these line of systems absolutely destroy this line. And if let's just say developer said, you know what, we're going to remaster in full HD graphics or full remakes of all the games from this generation, I would be, for the rest of my life, I would be okay if they remastered all of the greatest games. So take like the top 200 games from each system and they just remade those ones one by one with modern controls and everything like that and modern like capabilities. I'd be completely fine with never again being there another actual new game, because this is when Skies of Arcadia happened, guys. Generation 6 is when Skies of Arcadia happened. This is Xenosaga. This is all of some of the best franchises out there. Yes, we don't have Xenoblade. I agree. However, we have Bytes and Katos. We have Bytes and Katos on here, so that's really good. And we also have Fire Emblems. We have Fire Emblems on here. We have Bytes and Katos on here. There is plenty that they can remaster or remake to make amazing in today's day, and I wouldn't need another freaking new game, like a new franchise or anything outside of that. This generation was awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Dreamcast. Let's Dreamcast. Come on. I mean, let's go. Exactly, Melee. Imagine Melee with the graphics of like Ultimate, dude. Imagine Melee with the graphics of Ultimate, dude. So yeah. So this generation is not very good. No, I'm joking, kind of. Not really. Somewhat. All right, so let's move on to the 8th generation. Oh, God. I didn't pick my winner from the. Did I pick my winner from the 7th generation? Okay, I'll pick my winner. I'm gonna go with the Xbox 360. But there's a huge asterisk by the Xbox 360. I'm gonna go with Xbox 360, and then I'm gonna go with the literal tie between the PS3 and the Wii. My favorite was the Xbox 360, but holy smokes, man. Oh god. Anyway, let's move to the 8th generation. Now, this generation's still ongoing, so I can't really pick a winner yet. But obviously, the Wii U didn't win. The Wii U was 4th place, even though there's only 3 systems. The Wii U was 4th place. To be honest, this generation, I'm gonna go ahead and put 3DS in here, and I would put 3DS as the winner. 3DS is not here, but if I could I'd put 3DS as the winner. But that's not fair because handhelds aren't on here. Maybe we can do a handheld list later. But I don't know. I can't put my finger on exactly what's wrong with the 8th generation, but I think you guys are kind of getting the idea of what I'm thinking about, right? With the 8th generation. I don't see this generation as, I'm not compelled to play games. Like it just feels samey. It feels samey. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like, it feels like, okay, 7th generation on steroids. Like the 5th generation to 6th generation felt like a true leap, man, look at what we can do here. But 7th generation to 8th generation feels like, look at the nose hair. Look at the divots on his temple. It doesn't feel like a true leap in gameplay evolution. It feels like a true leap in graphic whoring. That's what it feels like. It feels like a leap in graphic whoring. It does not feel like a leap in actual gameplay. Can anybody sit here and say, oh my gosh, 7th generation games play so much more different than 8th generation, or 8th generation games play so much more different than 7th generation games, when you can clearly say 5th generation games and 6th generation games, there is a huge, massive difference between 5th generation and 6th generation. The difference between 7th generation and 8th generation is tiny. It's very, very small. It's minuscule. No, the games play the exact same. So better frame rates sometimes here and there, but I still to this day think that Borderlands might be one of the best games I've played this generation, and that was the 7th generation game. They just made it play better on the 8th generation systems. The Last of Us, one of the best games in the 8th generation. Oh, that was 7th generation too. Is there a lot of games that are like the hardcore games that are much better or do something different like The Last of Us? Like The Last of Us, it plays the way it played. Okay, great. But 8th generation games, they play like The Last of Us, or they're like that. Like if you play Halo on the Xbox 360, yeah, Halo Guardians on the Xbox One is very similar. Gears of War on the Xbox 360 is very similar to Gears of War on this. And I understand, I get that. But I'm just saying, like, the law of diminishing returns. Not only did it hit it in the graphical department, but it also hit it in the gameplay department. The law of diminishing gameplay. I'm not really sure what to call it. But it's just not, there's something wrong. And I think you guys can clearly see. You guys already knew what was going to happen when I put up this 8th generation, right? Everyone's already started saying, okay, here we go. Let's just be real. How much of a difference are there? Obviously, the Wii U, there's a graphical difference in their games play. There is differences, but all the Wii U did was bring the gameplay when it comes to third-party games up to where it was here. That's all it did. This can be put right here if it wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? We could just call this the 32 Wii U X. You know what I'm saying? Or Wii X or whatever you want to call it. So this is hard. Wii U is hard to kind of put, like, well, where does it stand? Because it's not like it did anything, a leap that we haven't seen before. We've seen it because it was on these two systems right here. Now, Nintendo did some good things, but when you look at what the Wii U did with some of its, like, Super Mario 3D World, well, we kind of played Super Mario 3D World. It's called Super Mario 3D Land, It was great. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It was awesome, but there was no leap. There was no evolutionary leap in gameplay stuff. And there was a lot of new ideas. Don't get me wrong. It was worth my 10 out of 10. A lot of new ideas, in my opinion. It was great. But there wasn't that leap that we saw really since here, N64 to here, GameCube. That was dude, Resident Evil 4. What the? Resident Evil 4 was like, no, you cannot do that on any of these systems. You cannot do Resident Evil on any of these systems. The gameplay, the controls, the gameplay, it just wouldn't work the way that they had it. You can do everything that you can do on this generation here, or sorry, not that generation. Yeah, actually, everything that you can do in this generation here, it was here. Like everything that you can do. Same thing with this generation. Like this generation, better graphics. There wasn't as big of a leap from these two generations, from this to this. The graphics just got shinier, and then it even got worse. These are interchangeable. These two generations are interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? We were so stoked about the Switch because it's just something different. It's a home console that you can take anywhere. It's like, wow, this is just something different. It's just something, the games kind of play the same as 8th generation games. You know, they kind of play the same, but it's just, well, there's a lot of innovation. Like, for example, like Breath of the Wild. There's nothing like Breath of the Wild before that they've done. There's a lot of innovations within the series. Not like they play any differently than what we could have seen before, but there's a lot of innovation in the series. So we saw a lot of that on the Switch. We saw Splatoon come in this generation, but I think Splatoon really hit its stride on the Switch, not on the Wii U, in my opinion. Splatoon really hit its, and that's why Splatoon 2 on the Wii U, or sorry, on the Switch, is destroying Splatoon 2 on the Wii U. It really hit its stride on the Switch. So this generation is between the two most trash generations. It's between these two, and unfortunately, I'm going to sit here and say that the 8th generation is the worst generation that I've ever seen in my life. Like that I've ever really been involved with. This generation's absolute garbage. Overall, compared to the other generations, have there been great games? Great, yeah, there's been great games. Have there been good stuff? Absolutely. But this generation is absolutely garbage. And I actually made a video talking about the 8th generation is the irrelevant generation. I made a video talking about this a long time ago. I think 3 years ago. Check it out on my channel. It's called 8th generation. It's called and sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat as much, guys. I've just been blabbering for a long time. But I call this the irrelevant generation because this generation is irrelevant. This generation's not good. I mean, I've never had so many unplayed games in my life. And yes, I know I'm an adult in this generation. I've had more responsibilities. I have to work a lot more. But I've never been, like, whenever I need time to play a game like Xenoblade, that pushed me to play. Octopath pushed me to play. I have never been so unmotivated to play games in my life than the 8th generation. The 8th generation just really unmotivated me to play games at times. But yeah, that's my thought process. Anyway, I know you guys have a lot of thoughts on this because I haven't been looking at the chat. Let me know your thoughts. Tag me at Player Essence. I know we've been going for 2 hours on this, but let's keep it going here, guys. Shut up and sip some Sony water. I sipped plenty of Sony water. Okay, my ranking is this, guys. My ranking is this. In the 8th generation, I'm going to go ahead and say, oh God, do I have to pick a winner here? I'm not counting Switch as the 8th generation, but if I was, I would actually pick Switch as number 1. But I would say this, guys. If I had to pick a ranking, I'm going to go ahead and go PS4. Can I don't think there's... I'm going to go PS4, Wii U, Xbox One. That's what I'm going to go. I'm going to go PS4, Wii U, Xbox One. I mean, I know that I made a joke saying that the Wii U was 4th place, but the Wii U just had more games that I enjoyed than the Xbox One. And I played a lot of my multiplats on PS4, and like PS4 has like Persona 5 and stuff. So there you go. So I'm gonna go PS4, Wii U, Xbox One in this generation. But really, this is the Doodoo Bowl. This is the Dookie Bowl. This is the Jaguar Bowl. This is the winner of the like I said, this is the Doodoo Bowl. This is definitely not. This is like the, you know, guys know like the basketball championships, like NCAA championship. This is the NIT. This is the NI. This is the NIT. This is Division III football. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the NCAA March Madness. This is the NIT, my guy. This is the NIT. And if you don't know what the NIT is, look that up. It's all the teams It's all the teams that weren't good enough to make it in the March Madness. They play in the NIT so they can get a participation medal. You know, this is what that is. This is the, oh, you tried, participation medal. Hey, your record was like 5-30, but hey, you want to play for a championship? Yay! All college students win basketball. That's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of the freaking NIT. Yeah, no, congrats, you're number 65, dude. You're playing. It's like Illinois Technical University Institute with like 500 students versus like a team that's barely better than like a junior college program, dude. Like, the 8th generation is the NIT of generations. You guys get PS4 gets a participation medal. So yeah, it just won. PS4 just won the NIT tournament. There you go, just won the NIT tournament. All right, so let me go ahead and let me get to you guys. Tag me at Player Essence. I'd be more than happy to answer questions for the next 15 minutes or so. Deadlock says, Player Essence people are hyped for 60 frames per second and 4K rather than true game innovation. Oh, sweat on the person's brow. Oh, well, guys, if you have questions that when I was ranting about all the different generations and stuff, re-put your questions or retype what you were going to say. I'll read off comments as well. Pizza Wolf says, Player Essence, do you think Nintendo should release a new generation console in the middle of the PlayStation and Xbox gens if they continue to route the Switch instead of starting along with the others? Switch is in a completely different mindset. Switch, you guys know the split timeline theory? Yeah, there's a Switch timeline theory, and that is completely away from Microsoft and Sony. So no, what Nintendo does has no, like, Nintendo's on a whole different stratosphere. They're not on the same plane. So whatever Nintendo decides to do, they'll release it when they feel like it. Nintendo's on a whole different plane at this point. Boy Z says, Player, since Xbox never won a console generation in sales, press F to pay respects to Microsoft console sales. Yeah, they've almost won, but they haven't won. Fireblast Gaming says, OJ, 7th gen was weird and not great. Plus, we got Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, Final Fantasy died in that generation as well. That was the beginning of the end for Final Fantasy, was 7th gen. Like I said, there's a lot of weird stuff. 7th gen was trash. 7th gen was absolutely trash. 8th gen, I guess, was better because the systems didn't blow up on you, you know? And there was not a lot of like weirdo stuff, and it wasn't like $600. So I would say overall, 8th gen was maybe better, but I mean, like, 7th gen was really garbage, dude. 7th gen was ridiculously garbage. It was not good. It was not good. There were some great games that I loved that are some of my favorites of all time, like Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, but 7th gen was not a good generation. It was the weirdo generation, for sure. Oh yeah, and our Merit with the $5 donation. Okay, thank you, Miragawa Link. Thank you for the donation. Sorry, thank you for reminding me about the donation. And our Merit says, I bought one of my Sony fanboy brothers a Wii U during 8th gen. Didn't work out too well. The Switch, however, finally won him over. Yeah, the Switch is something different because I think the Switch, like I said, is just different. It's not a stationary box. You can take it wherever you want, no matter how much people try to sit here and say, oh, well, I don't play games. I want to play on a TV. Everybody has a bed that they lie down in. Everybody has said, man, it would be nice to play a game lying down in bed. Everybody has went to the DMV or went to somewhere where you're going to have a lot of time and like maybe you don't want to play a phone game, you can play Switch. So that's why Switch, I think, Switch will win people over that didn't like Nintendo beforehand because you can play it anywhere. And it doesn't necessarily need to replace what they're already playing. They can play it literally in opportunities in ways that they couldn't play it beforehand. So shout out to NR Merit. Sorry for reading off your donation late, dude. That was 4 minutes late on there. Sorry about that. But thank you for the $5. I'm pretty sure you're the top ninja for the day too. Let me see. I need to go back to my other layout here. Okay. So yeah, shout outs, man. Let's see here. VCIPZ says, sorry I'm late. That's okay. It's all good, but you missed a lot. Let's see here. 7th to 8th gen was a backpedal in some ways. Yeah, it actually was a backpedal in some ways, but 7th gen was an explosion horribleness. So, thanks for PlayStation for doing that. One of my favorite YouTubers to watch. Yeah, shout outs to James Clarkson. Thank you for providing about 30 minutes of content for this YPE live stream, dude. That was a fantastic question. People always ask me to do those like in a video, but I think they're much better to do in live stream than in a video, just to talk about that. So I'll add that into the title. So if you missed it or if you want to rewatch what I said about it, I might even clip. You know, here's what I'll do, guys. I'll clip that whole segment. Shout out, you guys, give some love to James Clarkson with that. I'll clip that whole segment and I'll put it up on the channel. So I'll clip it later and then I'll put it up so people can watch it later. Prince Girl says, Player, since I was almost done with gaming this gen, the Switch literally pulled me back. And I've heard a lot of people say that they're done. They were pretty much done with gaming this generation. To be honest, if it was PS4, Wii U, and Xbox One, your boy might be done with gaming. My guy, dude. Yeah, I have to admit, I mean, I've played some Xbox One and PS4 games. I think Persona, like, I would have still been sparsely playing stuff here and there. like Persona 5 and stuff like that. But yeah, man, Switch definitely pulled me in to beat more games and play more games. Although I still have a crazy backlog. 3DS was all I needed. Wii U, PS4 gen. Yeah, 3DS was my main system. And the 8th gen guys, 3DS was my main system. So just to let you guys know, it's not like I was like, like people say, okay, well, if you didn't play PS4 and Xbox One, what'd you play? Because Wii U didn't get as many games. I played Wii U games when they came out, but when Wii U games weren't coming out, I was playing 3DS. 3DS was my main system in the 8th generation. So there you go. Let's see here. Devlock7 says the 7th gen was the only gen I had consoles that broke. The old consoles still have work. Yeah, man. 7th generation the quality was pretty trash. Party Man says players outside of RPGs, Crash and Crash Team Racing were godly on the PS1, along with Ready to Rumble Boxing and Test Drive. That was my childhood. Yeah, man, those were all really good. I rented Test Drive, or not rented. I played it at the place the Player One place that I went to. I remember playing Crash Bandicoot at that Player One place. But my friend Dominic had Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2. Bruh, it was on. Oh my god, we would play Crash Bandicoot all night, get our butts kicked. We would just play Crash Bandicoot. We would switch off whenever we die, hand off the controller, and we play and we beat that game. Oh, good times, man, good times with Crash Bandicoot. We did that with Mario 64 too. The Switch is awesome because you can play it how you want. Exactly. Let's see here. There's a little voice in my head that telling me to stop gaming. I wouldn't stop gaming if I were you. Player says, can you do the handheld list next? I can't do it in this live stream because it would take way too long. Because there's a lot of handhelds. There's a lot of handhelds. But we'll do it maybe next time. If somebody reminds me to do it in the next stream, I'll do it. I'll do it in the next stream. I'll do it then. But I can't do it today because that would take like another 30-40 minutes to do a handheld. Because that one's going to be, I mean, and to be honest, I mean, it would just pretty much be all of Nintendo's systems, right? Like, Nintendo is pretty much the undisputed king of handhelds. So, to be honest, it's pretty much just going to be Nintendo's handhelds the whole time. Even though I've played a lot of different handhelds, but Nintendo's are going to win. But it would be nice to see all the other handhelds, like, like to see, like, I think a lot of you guys learned stuff that you didn't learn today with the older generation. So, yeah, we'll do it just for that, for the educational purpose or standpoint. Let's see here. J2 Blue says, player says, I personally don't think there is going to be that big of a jump from next gen as people think. I'm honestly not expecting much outside of better graphics. Well, the thing about it, it's really, yeah, it's called the law of diminishing returns. The thing about this, guys, is that the law of diminishing returns is factual. This isn't, oh, well, no, it's just your opinion. No, the law of diminishing returns is factual. It is proven. It is a real, scientifically proven thing. There will be law of diminishing returns in video games, and it will happen. And it is happening. 7th generation to 8th generation is proof of that. A lot of games look the same. A lot of games just have better, I don't know, Teslaization or better, some shinier, graphics or whatever. But it's the leap is not there. I mean, you saw the leap from 6th generation to 7th generation, right? Pretty big graphically. But 7th generation to 8th generation, Last of Us is still one of the best looking games on the PS4, right? I think all of us can sit here and say, yeah, Last of Us is one of the best looking games on the PS4. Last of Us is also one of the best looking games on the PS3. Last of Us on the PS4 and the PS3 look very similar to each other. Yes, Last of Us runs better on the PS4. Yes, The Last of Us looks shinier on the PS4, but it still looks pretty good on the PS3. But Last of Us still looks graphically better than a lot of new games made. The remaster of The Last of Us looks better than a lot of new games made today with whatever they consider cutting edge or the latest hardware for Sony and Microsoft today. So that's the problem. That's where you see the law of diminishing returns, because The Last of Us still looks better than a lot of games released. And that game looks better on the PS3 than games released in this generation. Let's just be real here, right? Look at Last of Us on the PS3. It does look better than a lot of games released today. So, yeah, it's a law of diminishing returns is a thing. We might just have a gaming crash, and it just might be needed. We're not going to have a gaming crash. Gaming's too big these days. We have like stuff like Fortnite, stuff like YouTube, Twitch streaming. The thing about it is that people like to consume video games like TV, like movies, like stuff like that. So back in the day, we didn't have that. We didn't have people watching TV, like watching games like TV. We didn't have esports leagues. So there's going to be no such thing as a gaming crash because too many people consume it as something that they need, or like it's like food to them, So no, there won't be a gaming crash because of that. Because of the rise of esports, because of the rise of Twitch, because of the rise of YouTube, there will be no gaming crash. There will always be people interested in consuming and watching and looking at video games, because a lot of people find video games more interesting than TV. It's become a thing. It's almost like YouTube boxing now. Like YouTube boxing, like YouTubers, boxing has become a thing. And it's going to continue to be a thing because YouTube's a thing. And that's the thing, like, and that's what's going on with all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, these new forms of entertainment and media, people will consume these, even if it's dumb, even if it's not as good, even if it's lackluster. Logan Paul versus KSI is lackluster, crappy boxing. Both of these guys can't fight. But it's a thing. People want it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why there won't be a gaming crash. People look at the game. The quality of the games of today's games, in my opinion, aren't that great. But the media, everything around gaming is too big. There's too much money. There's too much stuff to where it's not going to crash. It's just not going to crash. Calvin, what's up, Calvin? Says, great stream. Thank you so much, man. J2 Blue says, Parsons, that's why I love Nintendo Switch, because it actually gives people a different way to play games. Exactly. That's why I like it too. VCIPZ says, Parsons, speaking of good-looking games, Untitled Goose Game looks hilariously fun. It's not my style of game, man, but I see what you're saying, bro. Pizza Wolf says, a lot of games in the 7th gen still look good today, to be honest. Yeah, they do. So yeah, not much of a jump between that and this gen. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Gaming is an entertainment. It's bigger than ever. I mean, you guys see, like, you have sold out stadiums for like League of Legends and stuff, dude. Like, it's just too big. Like, I see YouTubers like Maximilian Dude. Like, everyone's always gonna get hyped to watch Maximilian Dude play fighting games. Like, it's never gonna stop, man. This stuff's never gonna stop. You guys are always gonna come here to watch me rant and rave about stuff. You know, like the fact that, heck, even 151 viewers or 150 viewers or whatever the case is, you know, people are always gonna, because this is entertainment to you guys. You guys, like, why pay for cable? Why pay for all this other stuff when you can just watch this stuff? People literally use it as a replacement. I don't have cable. I don't pay for Hulu. I don't pay for Netflix. I have Amazon Prime, but that's for my work so I can get equipment. So I do have Amazon Prime, but that comes with my fast shipping that I want, you know? So a lot of people just say, well, screw what I used to, like cable and TV. I can watch this stuff for free, and it's what I like. So that's the reason why there won't be a gaming crash, because it's too important for people. Gaming back then was not as important. There was other things to do. People did other things. I'd say people played sports more. Kids went outside more. People just did other things more. Whereas now gaming is just, there's more careers and more money focused around gaming. The gaming industry is bigger than ever. So yeah, it's just not going to happen in gaming crash. So yeah. Player says, what's wrong with the Cyberpunk graphic? What's wrong with the Cyberpunk graphic? Did I say there's something wrong with it? I never said there's something wrong with it. Thoughts on Twitch? Twitch is good. Twitch is good. Here's the thing, guys. If YouTube ever decided to where YouTube couldn't become a way that I can sustain my living and I can do stuff, like, let's just say, you know, people just stop watching, which the YouTube views are way down. But I do a lot of other stuff, so you guys watch. I mean, I do a lot of live streams and you guys watch those and you guys help out. And there's other stuff that I do. I do freelancing and stuff, but I'd be a Twitch streamer, like, full time. I would just be like, all right, guys, we're playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 today, you know, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and then we're having PE Live at the end of the day. Like, I would just wake up and we're playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or we're playing this game all day, or I'd just do variety streams and just do that. And then I'd have way more streams where you guys play games with me. And then I would just, at the end of the day, then we just do PE Live, and that would be the end of my live stream for the day. That's what I would do if YouTube, you know, if I decided to go fully over to Twitch. Which, I mean, in the future could happen. It could happen that way, but I'll probably do like multiple live shows. Like, I'll play games for like 2 or 3 hours. I'll do like a live show, where I talk, and then I'll play games again, and then I'll do like another live show. So I would base the whole content around how Twitch is. So talk shows, going over news and going over everything, and then also gaming. So I would change things up, if I was fully on Twitch. I know that's not what your question was, but if I was to fully go on Twitch, that's how the format would be. It'd be talk shows where we go over news and everything, live interaction. So we'd have like multiple PE lives, basically. We'd have an early PE live, and then we'd have like a late PE live, and then we'd have multiple gameplay sessions, 2 to 3 gameplay sessions a day. So, I mean, it might go to that. If YouTube, something happens, it might go to that, guys. So there you go. Let's see here. Let's see, Parsons' favorite game on the Nin-Dee Showcase today. He says I didn't like it much. I thought it was pretty good. My favorite game was Hyper Light Drifter, Bastion Transistor. Those were my 2 favorite games. Those are really good games. If I were you, I would actually, if you haven't played those games, I know you're saying that you don't like it that much because it didn't seem like it was very hype, but those are 3 really good games coming to Switch. So I would say play the games first, and then you might change your mind on how it was. Nintendo just went over them really quickly, but those are really good games coming to the Switch, guys. They're really good. Travis Touchdown says, players, is it possible for Switch to have an add-on that can emulate dual screen play like the Wii U? No, because Switch games aren't built with dual screens, and like, it has to be programmed that way for dual screens to be taken advantage of, and no Switch game is programmed for dual screens. So you'd have to literally program a game for dual screens, and Nintendo's not going to program it to only work with that or program it to work in certain ways. So no, I mean, it's possible, but will they do it? No, they're done with dual screen gaming with home consoles. Pizza Wolf says, players, it's also, man, you make some great content. I go by my place for the gaming and Nintendo news. I wanted to say this for a long time now, but you make some great stuff along with Spawnwave. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Mary Goblin Link says, players, lots of gamers were complaining about the cyber pink graphic, but I didn't see nothing wrong with it. Cyber pink? You mean cyberpunk? Is that what you mean, cyberpunk? I don't know. The graphics look fine to me, man. But then again, you know, I'm not like a spontaneous complainer like a lot of people are online. I'm not gonna sit there and complain about everything. The only thing that I say is like I wish there was like a third person mode in Cyberpunk, but overall it looks okay. But I'm not gonna sit here and complain all day about like graphics and like the game's not even out, man. Like I'm just not gonna be complaining about stuff like other people though, you know. What's up, everything Nintendo? How's it going, man? Chips and Sticks says, player, since you know what's ironic? Twitch has a bigger viewership base than YouTube, but everyone I talk to uses YouTube because it's easier for them and viewers existing potential. No, that's not necessarily true. YouTube has a bigger viewing, like users and viewing hours and base. YouTube. More people watch content on YouTube than any other streaming or any other site. Now, live streaming, live gameplay, live content, Twitch has more viewers for that. YouTube does not compare to live streaming, live gaming, but in terms of just overall, YouTube is much bigger and has a lot more people watching. But live streaming gameplay, Twitch is much bigger. All my Twitch information and Aron and all of that is in the comment section below, or sorry, in the description. Just click on the description and you'll see my Twitch page and everything else. All my social media channels are all right there, dude. Shout outs to Powerplay 99 with the Twitch follow. Thank you so much, man. Welcome to the Fire Nation. Appreciate that. But my Twitch name is just Player Essence. It's just Player Essence, capital P, capital E. One word. Player Essence, you have Discord. I do have Discord for Patreons, yes. Patreons and YouTube sponsors, I have Discord. Chips and Sixes, Player Essence, that's what I mean. Okay, that's what you mean. Hard to put that all on 200 characters. Really? Yeah, that's true. I guess it would be kind of difficult to put that all there. But yeah. Watching in 14.4. Is it, what'd you say? 144p. Oh man, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's pretty low quality, dude. It's pretty low quality. Pretty low quality. But I hate that kids are aiming to become YouTubers. That's not a bright idea. I wouldn't say that it's a bad idea to become a YouTuber. I wouldn't say that that's it's not like a goal that you shouldn't have. Now you should obviously do your schoolwork and do stuff like that too, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a dream of becoming a YouTuber. It's no different than having a dream of becoming a football player or a basketball player. Heck, I think that maybe becoming a football or basketball player is even harder than becoming a YouTuber full time, you know? So I think that might even be harder to do, is unless you're like LeBron James. Obviously it was easier for him to become a basketball player because he's 6'8" and, you know, huge. Or if you're 7 foot tall, it's easier to become a basketball player than a YouTuber. But I don't think it's necessarily, I think there's probably more YouTubers that make a full-time living and that can live off of stuff than like NBA players, right? Because there's only like 12 NBA players per team, and there's like 30 teams, and there's a lot more. There's like hundreds of thousands of YouTubers, there's millions of YouTubers that make a living off this site. But then again, you know, job security, like, you know, ups and downs. I mean, obviously NBA is a lot more secure. You get paid a lot more money. So I mean, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to say that, okay, well, maybe I want to become a YouTuber. Shout outs to Hecko337 over there on Twitch. It says, hello. Is there an echo in here? Because, yeah, nobody's on Twitch right now. Players down with Capcom bringing games over to Switch. Do you think there's a small percentage of Devil May Cry can come to Switch? Well, Capcom brought games to even the Wii U. You know, Capcom's always bringing games to Nintendo platforms. So yeah, there's always a chance, but we have to wait and see. I don't know how you change your name on Twitch. I have no idea, dude. What's up, Belvedy? Have any advice for starting a website? I would love to quit my job one day. First of all, I would never start a website if I were you. A video game, like an actual website, or you mean a YouTube? I would never do a website. You're not gonna make any money unless you have some type of crazy idea and you're selling things. You're not gonna make any. Doing a website is too hard. It's too hard. It's too stressful. It takes too much time. I mean, YouTube takes a lot of time and it can be stressful and stuff, but it's nowhere near as. I used to run a website, guys. Running a website sucks. It's garbage. It's complete trash. Running a website is horrible. It is horrible. I haven't played Blade Strangers yet. Yeah, I haven't played Blade Strangers yet. Maybe I'll play it soon. Velvety. Some people are saying Saint Seiya game could be in the works for the Switch. Saint Seiya. What's that again? I don't know what that is. I sound like I've heard it before. It's an anime. It's an old anime. Okay. Yeah, maybe. But I loved your website. Yeah, I know you love my website, but dude, let me tell you guys something, man. You guys know I almost had a nervous breakdown running my website? No. I didn't almost have a nervous breakdown. I had a freaking nervous breakdown running my website. I literally had a panic attack running my website. I've never been so bewildered with and overworked than running my own website. It was the worst. You guys think, I mean, like, YouTube is a million times better. Guys, running my own website was just horrible. It was years of just pain. Years of pain, underpaid, pain, and suffering of running a website, man. Like, oh God, it's horrible. Oh my gosh, it's horrible, dude. It's horrible. Anime version of Kid Icarus, is it? I already know that Onimusha's Warlord for the Nintendo Switch. I already know that. Why are you tagging me with that? I already made a video on it and we already talked about it. Why are you tagging me? I run a website. I get paid loads of lick money. I don't even know what that means, dude. I'm gonna play Undertale. Yeah, maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll play Undertale. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. We've been going for over 2 hours and a half, guys, so I think we're gonna go ahead and stop it right there. I've answered quite a number of questions. We had a lot of great discussion. I'll clip that whole best generation discussion. I'll clip that and I'll put that up so you guys can watch tomorrow morning or something like that. So. Yeah, we'll see about that. So we're going to go ahead and go right now, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We had great viewership pretty much the whole time. We averaged 130 to 150 users pretty much the whole time, and we peaked like at 200 something. So good stuff, guys. Thank you for the support. Let's go ahead and let's pass it over to another YouTuber who's streaming right now, huh? You guys want to raid somebody? Let's go ahead and raid somebody. So let's see who's streaming. So my boy, what's it called? Nintendo Ultra is streaming Monster Hunter Ultimate, and his haircut looks very similar to mine. It's a little bit more spiky on the top, though. Unless he's had that haircut for a while. Anyway, and he has the same, his glasses look like mine. What is going on here? My little brother. Oh my gosh, this is my little brother Nintendo Ultra is playing right now. He just doesn't he doesn't have a beard like me though. Tell this man to grow a beard. Tell this man to grow a beard. Tell this man to grow a beard. So he look like little OJ. I think his hair doesn't have as many divots as mine from me using my hair recovery products. You know what I'm saying? He has more of that natural fro. But anyway, let him know that I sent you guys over there. Thank you guys so much for Ed Gamers tweeted by Nada. People getting timed out. Just say PE Raid, guys. Don't go over there and say what I just said. No, don't go over there and troll him. Don't go over. You guys are gonna get timed out. Just say PE Raid. Just say Player Essence Raid. Y'all gonna get timed out. So shout outs. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.